Hello. Hey there. I don't think I can hear anyone yet. Hi. I don't hear anyone actually. Can someone speak? All right, looks like I need to. Is anyone saying something? Andrew, can you say something?
Oops.
Are you talking? I can't hear anyone.
Hello, Deanna.
Give me a second. Try this again. All right. Hi, Mary. Hi, Andrew. I can't hear you guys. Can somebody say something again?
Hello, Deanna.
Nope, still not working. Okay. Let me figure this out. Oh, someone else is coming in.
How about now, Deanna?
Cable connected.
Hello.
How's this?
Okay, can you say something now?
Do you copy me?
Yes, I hear you. Yay, finally.
Hey, Deanna.
Hey.
Hey, I've got a really good sob story for you if you want one.
Okay, tell me. What's
Saturday
that?
night, Fiesta weekend, got in a hit and run accident.
Oh my goodness.
Guy hit me and just kept on going on the on-ramp.
Were they
101 northbound.
were you hurt?
No, I wasn't.
Uh,
My minor damage, car's still operable, but it's gonna cost me. Yeah. So that's a sob story.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
But I'm glad you're okay. That would have been a real sob story.
Oh yeah, that I know
Like-
that would
like,
have been
like real. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
the other day, we were having a little farewell party for my son because he was coming here, my eldest son. And in the midst of that, I asked my youngest son to take out the trash because people were about to arrive. And in doing so, he kind of started kicking the bag, and I guess my other son had thrown a broken glass in there and slit his leg. And people began to arrive, and we had to take my
Into
youngest
the
guy
hospital.
to the urgent care, and he had 5 stitches, and everyone's, where's everyone? I'm like, oh, they're all at the hospital. Hi, welcome to the party. And that one is expensive. So anyway, yeah, things happen.
I did something very similar to that, coincidentally, when I was much younger. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
things happen, and at least they didn't get cut in a serious, serious way. All right. Hi,
Yeah.
Karen. Hi, Mary. And someone's on a phone number here, 1805. Is it one of you guys on a second phone? Otherwise, who is that?
That's me, Karen.
Oh, that's you. Okay, got it. I just wanted to make sure because that's your sound. Perfect. All right. So who's missing? Oh, Caroline. It's a pity. Caroline said she couldn't come any of the 3. She was going to come to the next 2, and she didn't. And so today she said that, but you don't even know her at this point, but it'd have been nice to have her. But someone else was in class the other day. It was you 3 and someone else. Am I wrong?
No.
Drawing a blank right now.
I've been checking my inbox for that exercise workbook. I thought you were gonna pump out.
Yeah, actually,
yeah.
I was going to say, because I do teach all of this in credit, and for that we have a book, and it's a book that spells out step by step what to do. So I can give you the name of that book, and you can buy it, and literally if you follow it A to Z, you will learn everything and you'll have a list there. So if you really mean it, I can give you, it's a textbook that we use at school. I can give
Yeah.
you that number.
So you teach all the comp classes you teach the comp classes
Yeah.
at
mhm,
SBCC?
Yeah.
God, I'm so
And-
tempted to take those.
And
Yeah.
that's where we have the book for this versus just our knowledge. So email me, I'll get the number, the ISBN and send it to you, and you don't have to be a student, you're welcome to buy it. So I was thinking later, why didn't I tell them that before? Because you're asking for a textbook. That's what
I
we do for
know.
those students. We have them just follow bit by bit. Anyway, I want to keep going. Is there anything that you guys want to share? I'm looking at, I'm gonna put in here the the summer link, the link to the Padlet, which I believe I might have actually not, hold on. I might have not actually posted my own. I think I posted one and then nothing else. I need to share, let me see. So Mary and Karen, you all posted your material, and I guess it was just us three. Someone else was there at the beginning somehow. I don't, oh, Sal, he couldn't, he came late and yeah. And then I guess I didn't post the rest of my screenshots, which I do have on my screen, so I will put them on later. All right, well, there you go. Oh, Mary dropped. Okay. Charles was here. Oh, thank you. I knew there was someone else. Thank you, Mary. And there comes Mary again. Okay, let me let her in again. There we go. So yes, Charles was here. Thank you for that. All right, I'm going to put you in a situation where I can see you guys up on top. I have changed my plan. I have two computers today, and it's a bit uncomfortable because one is far behind me, but at least I can see you there and I can demo everything on this one. All right. And I'm going to make this one really small so I don't have to have it bugging me. All right. I have two mice, and so it's kind of like trying to remember which one to, yeah, I keep trying something new. All right, so then there's not much more to share here, so I'm going to stop this share. Thank you everyone for putting your information there. And I wanted to share, let's open the same file where we did the VLOOKUP, because I wanted to show you the XLOOKUP. Other than that, you guys have a file called XLOOKUP. Actually, don't open the same one. Go to the XLOOKUP file, and it's class exercises, Excel 3-XLOOKUP, and open that one.
Excel 3 XLOOKUP.
Yeah.
Where is it?
All right. So it's not the one that I thought was going to open, but let me see which one opens up. Oh, because I have two Excel XLOOKUPs. Okay, well, that's fine. This one works as well. I
Ah,
thought I was opening the other one, but there we go. I'm opening this one.
I don't see it in my folder.
Oh, you guys don't have it? Karen, do you have it?
I have it.
Ah,
Excel 3-X lookup.
Mm-hmm.
don't have it.
It's under what if analysis, under VLOOKUP. Well, that's if you have it alphabetical order.
I've got what if analysis. I got pivot tables, pivot intro,
Put
complex
in by
formulas.
if you put in by alphabetical order, maybe that might help you find it under that. If not, I guess I can email it to you.
Well-
How about you, Mary? Do you have it? I actually prefer,
Would you kindly email it to me?
since it's only 3 of you guys.
In that file, the
Yeah, hold on, I'm just connecting and I'll give it to him. I just need to connect to my email. So you do have it, Mary? You think so? Okay, here I am. I'm in my email. Okay, so Andrew, to your pipeline account,
Yeah, sure. That's great.
and here it is. But actually, since there's only 3 of you guys, that's fine. I think hopefully the rest of you have everything. Okay, so X lookup and send. Okay. I mean, it's part of the class file, so I don't know, it's probably hiding somewhere in your set of files, but there you go. Now you can open it from there. And I also want you guys to open the VLOOKUP that we had the other day. The one that's Starbucks explained. What's the whole name of it? Explained term. It's got a name. So long. Explained in simple terms at Starbucks.
I keep refreshing and it's not showing.
Well, go ahead and open first then.
Oh, there it
The
is.
one that you already have.
I got it. Yeah. Okay.
We'll open both.
Yeah. Let's
Now,
see.
XLOOKUP can be used in a way more intricate way than we're going to use it, but I'm going to show you a way to use it that's kind of identical to the way we used XLOOKUP, only easier. And it might help, I was thinking, the whole question of what column is information in and stuff like that, that we were happening upon, Karen. Because the other day I started thinking, wait a minute, I wonder if after we talked, XLOOKUP could have done it. So I looked it up and yeah. So let me actually share my screen. And I'm going to make this really tiny. There we go. And I think it's these 2. All right. And I'm just on the Mac. I can go and sign up to VDI to show you guys on the PC for a bit, but let me just do this part here because it was driving me a little bit crazy the other day to have so many different windows open. Okay, so now here's the Starbucks XLOOKUP. Okay, so the VLOOKUP, and I'm going to go over here to where we had the answer, I believe. Oh, here I did it only with XLOOKUP. So I need to open the one that we did before. Hold on.
Let's look up.
I actually sent you. Okay. Okay, so I have so many versions. So okay, so the VLOOKUP had us put in the value we were trying to find, like photo frame, and instead we made it have the cell number. Then we had to say where we want, what was the data it was going to look at, and then we had to put in the column index, right? So I don't know if you remember that, but I'm trying to show you the demo, but do I have that file? Trying to find the one that I saved the other day. Here, I'll use this one. Okay, let me double click on open this one and share this one. And new share, let me add, what's this one called? VLOOKUP my. Here, I'm adding this one. I think someone's joining us, no. Okay, so now you can see the VLOOKUP in this whole thing. And in this one, this is what we did here at home. And I believe here we put look at the whole formula here, or let me just double click here so you can look. Let me make it bigger so you can see the whole formula. So what we did is we put the VLOOKUP, the cell that we were referring to where we wrote whatever we wanted to look for, then the range. So here's the range that it's supposed to look into. Then we said what column the information one, which was price. And then we said that it was false, right? And that gave us the information, but the X lookup, so now I'm going to go here. It's relatively similar, so to say, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. It's same thing. You put in the cell that you want the result to be in. You put in the range of what needs to be looked at. And in this case, I'm looking at two separate ranges, and that's actually something that you can, so this is the range. And then here, instead of having to put the cell column, you just drag also the, not the column number, but the actual data in that column. And the whole here, I ran home. I was far from here. I don't have a car here in Berkeley, and we were like 40 minutes away. And I left my son and I said, okay, I'm heading home to teach. And I started going the wrong way. I walked like 10 minutes the wrong way. By the time I figured it out, I had to turn around, and then I was just going to walk home. I had to hoof it home, and I'm still sweating from having ran home. Here's Mary. Okay.
Excuse me for a second.
All right. So the XLOOKUP is much easier. So you guys have the same old Starbucks in front of you. Grab any old cell where you want your result. Let me see, Mary, are you there? Can you join? Can you see us now, Mary, or is it too? Write to me in the chat, okay? If you can. I can't hear you. I hear crackling, so I don't think it's going to work. Don't try to answer. Just go ahead and yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't bother. It's not going to work. Okay, right. If I'll keep going and hope that you're doing it. My other monitor is so far away that I have to make sure that you're seeing what I'm seeing. Okay. All right. So it's basically the same, but easier, because then instead of having to put in the column number that was the issue, all you need to do is go and select that data. Okay. So let's go ahead and try that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select a cell. We want our answer, and let's just go with the same information. So say that we're going to be wanting the answer here in F8. Okay, so I'm going to color that. That's the one where we want the answer. So over here, I'm going to go with equals, and then I'm going to go XLOOKUP. Okay. And then the values is going to be here, right? So I'm going to select this set of data, comma, okay. Then we're gonna, so that's the lookup value. But no. Sorry. In front of this, we need to put the cell number. I apologize. This is where we want the information. Okay. Then we have where to look it up. And then the last thing is where the price will be. So say we want to know the price of the venti. So we'll select venti. And then we close, and then that's it. So what we've done is we've put the cell number where we're going to put in the information of this information, anything that's in this data. And then we're going to point to where the results are. So we're going to head and say return. And then in here, we're going to write, I'm going to write steamer. So I'm going to say copy and put steamer. And there comes the 275. So basically, it's exactly the same thing that we did before, but without the number of the column and without the decision between true and false. Now, the actual formula, when you're writing it, let me just actually go ahead and say lookup, EX lookup, can have a lot more information. So see how it says 1, 2, and 3 are necessary, which is the 3 things we put in there. And then you can add if not found, match mode. So there's 3 other possibilities. And so you can actually, with a lot of information, you can actually get a much more, you can put 2 or 3 different areas for it to look for. If it's not here, then look in there. If it's not there, look in here. So it can be much more intricate. But in the end, ever since XLOOKUP came up, the reason a lot of people aren't using it yet is because it only works in Excel 365 or in Excel 2021. So people who are still using 2019, which is a ton of people haven't upgraded, and lots of businesses bought into Excel 2016 or 2019, and they have to buy hundreds of licenses for their workers, and they have not updated to not even 2019, but for sure not to 2021. The solution of using Excel 365 is a solution and not, because since it changes all the time, a lot of people don't like that because they have to be learning something new all the time. If you're trying to do your work efficiently and then suddenly it all changes on you because a new version, a new update came up, it could really disrupt processes. So a lot of time businesses don't have 365. So if XLOOKUP in the future will become the norm, it gets rid of VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP because it does both vertical and horizontal at once, but it only works in 2019 and 365. At school, we teach Excel 2019. We're actually going to switch to 2021 in the spring. But so I haven't taught this one yet because we don't have the way to demo it in 2019. That's why when the other day I wasn't thinking about it, and I haven't really used it enough to look at all the intricacies of what the other options. I've just read about it. Anyway, but it's kind of the formula for the future. And you saw it's the same thing, but much easier, basically, right? So again, we choose where we want the answer. So that I want the answer there, comma, point to the data that needs to be read, comma, point to the data that you want the answer from, close it, boom, that's it, right? And so then here we put drip coffee, right? And there I get the answer. So any questions about that? Did it work? Did it not work? Did you try it out?
Not yet.
So Karen, what do you guys use in your company?
365.
365,
Yes,
okay. So you can use it, you can adopt it.
Yeah.
And you can also begin to look at what else it can do, which you probably will find out that there's a lot more that you can use it for. I'm gonna start teaching 2021/365 in the spring. So I have a whole list of things I need to look into, and that's one of them. So I can't go much deeper than this in it, but hope you can do that. And in fact, let's go to the other example that I hooked for VLOOKUP. Was it this one? No. Oh, these. Okay, so this was the first one that I had done, and okay, this is the XLOOKUP that I linked. Okay, so if you look over here, the example that this is giving is the one that I haven't really explained yet, but basically with XLOOKUP, you can get this, like here you would have to do 2 VLOOKUPs to find out certain information, and then the XLOOKUP is all in one, like, so it's kind of comparing it. As I said, I don't have completely the data on that one, but just imagine, let me go over here to, let's go to this one. Does this one have a lot of data? Yeah, it's fine. Let's go to this one that doesn't have any information. And okay, so this is the one that has, you can have it look over here, and then you can have it look over here. I have to admit, I don't know how to do that yet. So I'm not going to give you that option. I thought this is the one that had but anyway. So if you look at what because the way it's written, this is a lookup. I think you had data on one side and data on another, and you joined them when you had to find this address, and this phone number went with this person. And so this is where you did the answering anyway. So that's the way they cross-process it. Anyway, I'm just leaving you that to find it out. And I was going to give you a link that I had for that. Where did I have the link for XLOOKUP? Give me a second, because maybe you can look it up.
Yeah.
Because the CGF or whatever it's called doesn't have XLOOKUP. Anyway, because it doesn't have that new information. Well, it'll come up, but anyway, I'm sure you can just look it up and all the different tutorials about XLOOKUP, and it'll explain how to do it with more complicated information. But I thought this would be cool for you to have information that comes from one page to another and then get a second result, putting them two in one, right? So anyway, that's all for VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP. Again, it's the same thing, but it's a cleaner formula with more possibilities. And those are the possibilities that I'm drawing the line at, because I normally, if I teach something, I want to know it, but I don't have time given the situation I'm in to learn something new. But I know you might be interested, so I thought I'd show you this little bit, and then I'll move on to.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. So then I'll move on. So I'm going to just say not save to that. And then we can, let me close all the VLOOKUPs. For some reason, I ended up with 3 files of VLOOKUPs in front of me and XLOOKUPs. And there you go. All right. Okay. I keep having to look at the files that I gave you, which are down here, to make sure that you have them. Okay. So you guys have, there's a couple, so I told you I'd start with pivot tables, but since, which I'm going to definitely cover today, but since Karen already has that, and I want to try to do a full bit more stuff, and then maybe she might want to like say goodbye during the pivot table parts, because she said she wakes up early. I have quite a few other things that I want to show you. And one of the things that you mentioned also is wanting to look at an if analysis. So I'm heading over to that.
Mm.
Where are my notes? I think I should move this to the other computer. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck in having to use 2 computers, which I know for most people sounds weird, normal, but for me it's very reductive. And when I'm opening here, the computer all seems fine. And then when I start teaching, I can really feel how minimal that is. Okay, so here we go. Go look for the if. It's called if function, and then there's a little parentheses of a 1. There's a little if, and then a 1. Okay. So now let's go ahead and work on that one. I have here we go. I need to give you the, okay, let me share. Zoom, share. Yeah, Mary, that I just added the little, the XLOOKUP mention, because I thought it might be something that you guys could use, but definitely that's all we're going to do about it, because I spent some time with VLOOKUP. So here we are, if function. So I told you that I was going to be doing some more slightly more complex formulas, and this is one of them. All of these are formulas for analyzing results, right? Or for extracting information from, so analyzing results actually is more pivot tables, but this is the kind of function that is good to extract the results that you need more quickly than doing it by hand. So say that you have all these employees, and there's a ton, right? This is one of those long lists. And you need to give a bonus. Let's say in this case that you're going to give a bonus to anyone who is full-time, or anyone who has a 5-job rating. Let's just start with full-timers get a bonus. Okay, let's say that full-timers get a bonus. So that's what we're going to start with. So we could sort and filter, like that kind of thing that we've done before. But if we want the actual result printed out, what's that? Did someone say something? No. Okay, I thought I heard something. So if we need it written down on a column, it's not like something that we sort and filter is temporary. You unsort, you unfilter. But if you would like in this column to have a register of who got the bonus, you would have to sit here and go, okay, this person's full-time. You'd have to write it down and drag it down instead of just using a formula. So that's one example of the basic if function. So let's go ahead and, as usual, we start a formula with an equals. And then we have to decide that if a certain thing, right, is, let me see, H2. So if H2, right there. So we're going to write if, open parentheses, H2, meaning this one here, right? This first cell. And then we have to say if H2 equals, right? So it actually is the word full-time, and we write the word full-time between quotations. So I'm going to go open quotations and I'm going to write full-time, exactly how it's written there, and close quotation marks. So if this, then that, right? So if this cell equals full-time, which here it'll do it, but here it won't, here it won't. If this is equals full-time, comma, and then we're going to tell it to say yes or no. So first we open parentheses, not parentheses, open quotation marks and say yes, which is the first answer that we want. And then comma, quotation points, no. So the if option gives us two possibilities, right? And you might see it bigger here. So look at this cell, and if it's equal to that, give me a yes, because it's an if formula. Then if it's not, then give me a no. Now I'm going to hit return, and it's telling me yes. And then I can just drag that down, and then I'll know all the people who are yeses are going to get the bonus. Does that make sense, you guys? So it's yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Of course, then you can just sort it to find them, but this stays registered. So it's more permanent than having it just be a filtering or a sorting. I see your hand is up, Andrew.
Yeah. God, I don't even have the if function file. So I'm going back into Pipeline right now and I'm going to the shared drive and seeing.
Oh, download everything.
Yeah.
I sent you, didn't I send you guys all the files? I sent you every one of them the other day.
God.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, do it on the Starbucks, if something, I don't know.
I know.
I can send you this too. Why don't I?
Okay, it is in the folder download Wednesday, December 8th.
Oh, thank you. There was a little subfolder inside the class files called December 8th, which were some things I added and then I forgot to take them out of that folder. So you have that folder in the class files, double click on a little folder called Thank You, December 8th. And in there, you'll find this file.
So
Thanks for
I've got
the
Excel
reminder,
1, 2,
Mary.
and 3 class exercises in the shared drive, and you're telling me there's a subfolder?
And inside of that, there's a little folder. Let me share that screen. Where do I have the class files? Here we go. Class exercises. I think I might have already. I think what I did is I already I already fixed that because I know that you guys had already picked up your files and I actually took it out of that little subfolder. So right now, it's not in a subfolder anymore.
Oh, here it is.
There it is. I mean, the if function now, since that was a mistake and you guys had already downloaded, I fixed that by putting it in all the files so that next time people download, there's not that problem. So it's with all the files. Okay.
Yep. Let me get this out. on the
So while
web.
we do this, you guys, how about we wait for him to catch up. Let's find out. Instead, let's find out, not based on whether they're full-time or not, but maybe they get a bonus if the job rating appears as number 5. So let's go ahead and say if J2, so we're going to change this to J2, and it's easier to go up here for you guys to see it. J2, so now I'm pointing to that, equals, and we're going to tell them 5. Then that's a yes or a no. And actually, you know what? This would be bigger than or equal.
Is there a way to say greater? Can you do like greater
Yeah,
than 4?
greater than, exactly. So I was about to go with greater than or
Did you put a, like, kind of, did you put a parenthesis around anything? A2 greater.
I'm looking at the sample that they have in I like the sample that they have in the CG. I'm gonna change to the EDU. Here's the sample that they have using the if function in the CGF file. And it's really self-explanatory. It's really good. So it's about how many people have donated. And people who have donated more than a certain amount are going to get a free gift. So you have all these people who donated money, right? And you need to send a free gift to people who sent anything that was 50 or over. So then in the column free gift, you put in this would be G2 is the amount of money, right? So if G2 is larger or equal to 50, then instead of yes or no, you write free gift. Now, since this needs 2 different possibilities, it's free gift or, like we said, yes or no. The second one, you just leave empty. So it's either going to be free gift or nothing, free gift or nothing. And so then it only appears as free gift. And the other option is nothing. So free gift only appears. Okay. So this would be the formula that you put in here. Well, there it is, which is if this number is equal or larger to 50, then you're going to get a free gift. If not, then nothing. That is equivalent to nothing. So that's what's happening here. Does that make sense, you guys? Any questions? Andrew, were you able to catch up? I can't hear you. Hello, I can't hear you. Did I not, am I not hearing you or?
No.
Okay.
with the full time, I'm catching up with the full time, like
Okay,
if,
yeah, let me go back to that one. I was just adding these because I like that example a lot. I
If
just
H-
saw it actually this morning. I said, oh, I should have given them that file. But yeah, so over here I had
if
if H2
parentheses to H 742, according to my,
H2 was equal. H2 was equal to the word full time.
quotes. Case sensitive,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Possibly. Let me
Huh.
try it. I don't know.
okay,
Let me see if it's, I would assume yes, because you're telling it to have it be equal to.
It's not
Um,
because it worked
yeah.
on mine when I
You're
accidentally
right.
did it.
No, you're right. It's not. That's why I'm testing it. And nope, it's not case sensitive. So
but
good.
quotes, but we need quotes, because that tells the computer it's a string or
That it's a,
something.
well, it's a phrase, it's together that they should look
Yeah.
for that entire thing. So you should make sure to have the space, for example, not full time as one word. So yeah, in that sense,
Okay.
it needs to be.
So, okay, equals full time, then do we, and then what's,
Then you say, give me a yes. And if they're not, then give me a no.
do we need a comma or a yes, no?
Yes. Every argument, these are called arguments. Each one of these
Right.
pieces is called an argument in the formula. Every argument has to have a comma in between them.
Okay. It's a Monty Python bit. I came here for an argument. No, you didn't. Yes, I did.
Anyway, and then you just drag down. Of course, there's a lot of drag down. There's a shortcut for dragging down that I don't actually remember right now. Because this is a long drag, right? Come on, keep dragging. There we go.
You know,
There's a shortcut for that. So I had to go down
Control shift
7.
down arrow. I think it's control shift down arrow.
Let me try that. So
Like you have to copy though.
control,
And then go. Can you
control
copy?
shift down arrow. No,
When you,
okay.
have to copy. So I
To
don't know if
see
it'll work
the
with.
control shift down arrow. Okay, took me down to, it takes you to the whole bottom. It selects the entire column. Took me down to column to number 1,048,000. So that wasn't it, but let me undo. You said you have to copy it first,
Copy it,
then
yeah.
paste
Yeah.
it, and then control
No,
shift
not
down
No,
arrow.
don't paste yet. Don't paste until you shift. Be in the next one under, like control C, and then go to
Okay.
the next one under, and then shift control down arrow.
Oh, instead of pasting, shift command, because I'm on the Mac, down arrow. Maybe it's copying it, but it's taking it to the whole column. So let me see. Nope, it didn't work. The Mac and the PC shortcuts are a little bit different. Not just command and PC.
I do have problems with some documents though when I do that, and I don't know what it is, but it's like there's when I run it in one system, every time I do shift control down arrow, it does go way below the data. But
Must be another one.
but not-
Actually, you know what? Now that we're talking about it, I think the CGF, I remember once the other day when Charles mentioned it. No, you guys are not seeing it right now. When I was showing you the if function, no. Let me go in here because I believe I saw a possibility to do a search. I believe I saw something about shortcut, Excel shortcuts. Let me see. Shortcut. Let me see if it comes up. Excel tips. Oh, you guys are not seeing this. Let me just, because I think, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure, 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that I saw it here. Let me do a search in Excel and write shortcut, which Excel tips, add a new shortcut. I don't remember the shortcut, but Excel tips. A faster way to use the fill handle. double click the fill handle and it'll instantly do the content downwards. Okay, let me see. Here we go. Double click. Yes, it was as simple as that. There we go. All right, I remember thinking, wait, I just saw a thing about shortcuts. There we go. Very
Very
cool. Very cool. The life is, I'm so glad Charles mentioned this tutorial because I remember on this, when I was flicking through it, I saw something about shortcuts and I said, I need to go back to that one because there's some shortcuts I don't remember. And there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Can we just do that one if function once again? I'm flailing a little
Sure. Let me go
Okay.
ahead and head straight down here and delete everything. So, okay, so I'm gonna
Okay,
select, delete, it's all gone.
So I'm
Okay,
in the bonus
So we put in
column,
here, equals,
equals if, open
If.
parentheses,
open parentheses. Now,
H2 colon
if this thing
H714.
right there, if that thing right there is equal, so I select H2, is equal
Wait.
to,
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me full screen you so I can see your
maybe
work.
I can do this many bigger, there. Can you see that bigger? I
Yeah.
made it bigger. So if, I won't be able to see the whole thing, but for now it's good.
It's okay.
If H2, right, you can
Right.
equals. And now quotation marks, and sometimes quotation marks, I just put 2 and then I go 1 back and then I just write full time, just, I kind of do that with code. I don't know if that makes sense, but in code, I'm always like opening quotes and twice and then going back because when I write code. So I did it here too, but you have to remember then to go back out. I don't know, just thinking.
What if we do a range of cells? That'll work too. That's of course.
But in this case, I don't want a range. I want a specific thing.
Oh, I thought you wanted all full time. Yes. I thought you wanted all full time to get, yes.
Yeah, I want this cell to say full time. That's all I'm doing. This exact cell has to say full time. If so, right here where I'm writing the formula, it will say yes. Okay, so I too will say yes. So that's all I'm looking for. Then when I pull it down, it'll look here and it'll go, oh, no, not full time. It'll say no. Oh, yes, full time. It'll say yes. Oh, not full time. It'll say no. So the formula only refers to this cell. Does H2 equal to full time? If so, yes. Comma. Or no. And close the parentheses. Right? So you're basically,
You mean your yes is just the next argument after?
yeah.
I mean, your
after
no.
full time. Yes and no are your two. What's that, Karen?
Oh, so if you have a bunch of data colored, can you use this to also to add up colored items or select colored items?
I don't think formatting works, because how do you put in a formula formatting like the color of your form? You know what I mean? I don't think, no, I'm pretty sure that does not work. I've never seen anything referred to formatting in any formula. But there's always things about Excel that I don't know, but I've never, I mean, this could have been done with conditional formatting, right? There's so many ways to have found this out that
Sure.
can be undone, right? I can select this whole thing and the conditional formatting would be color it yes if it says full time, color it red if it says full time. But it's nothing that then translate that information into another column. This is the first, I could have just searched and done a sort, all my full times together. I'm trying to write that information in another column. And that's why we're using this formula. Does that make sense, you guys? It's more permanent. Then I can go back to this here and go, yeah, this person got it. This person didn't get it, and having to refigure it out each time. Now, did that one work for you, Andrew and Mary? You got this one?
Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right.
show it on Padlet. I'm gonna show you what I got.
What? And then here, I'm gonna now, we learn double click and whoo, down it goes. Haha, I love that one.
Oh, I did it with the range, but that's,
What do you mean with the range? Like you dragged it down like I did?
yeah, but I did it when I initially did the formula. You know what? That's so much easier because you just do one cell to make sure you got the formula right. That's your
Always.
paradigm.
Yeah,
I
no,
forgot
you,
what that's called in
can't,
Python. Yeah.
you can't do in a formula, the range when you're trying to get one answer from one cell. Anyway, share your screen. You said you wanted to share something?
Yeah, but I'll put it on Yeah,
Oh,
I'll share my, yeah,
yourself.
let me share my screen because I got a little triangle that, and that's
Okay.
probably a warning sign of what you were just talking about.
That something, well, triangle just means that that there's no consistency between one row and another row for the formula you put in. Hi, Sal. So nice to see you.
Hey, hello. Hello,
Hey,
everyone.
hey.
Hey.
So we're working on if formulas. So if you go into the files, if you find the file called if function, it's Excel if function. And I just stopped sharing because Andrew's about to share. So just open that up and then we'll continue. So yes, Andrew, go ahead and share your screen.
Right, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so,
So your formula,
you see right there, do you see right there, you see that
yeah,
little
go ahead and
triangle?
click on that, click on it, click on the triangle. Click again. Wait, hover over it for there. Okay. Hover over the
Unprotected
triangle.
formula, yeah.
No, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for the long one. So move away and put it in, put your mouse in there again. There. This cell contains a formula and is not locked to protect it from being changed inadvertently. When they put exclamation points, they're trying to tell you things that might be problematic. Now, in this case, the triangle, the little green triangle, when you click on that, go ahead and click on that. Little tiny. Or
What
go back.
prompt? What
Well,
kind of
actually,
prompts?
go back to the exclamation point, and then another little thing will appear on the side. That little triangle there.
Oh.
That one. Click on that. And it's basically saying that it's unprotected formula. So I guess that one isn't the one I was looking for. Basically, the one that when you have this little triangle, usually it tells you that there's not a consistent formula between one and the other. Anyway, basically
Well-
your formula is not done correctly. Are you getting the right yeses and nos though? I'm curious.
Yeah, I
because
am.
You are
So-
getting yeses or nos.
Yeah,
But
so equals if,
let's
open
write it.
parentheses,
Mhm.
and then
So the
I
logical
went down
test-
all the way to 8.
Yeah, but you don't want to find, yeah, I mean, it does then fill in everything. I guess it works. I would have never done it that way. Not
Oops, I did it.
that semicolon, not
Right,
comma.
right.
But do it the right way, which
Okay,
is
just H2.
if full, because since Sal is first listening right now, so let's do it right. So
Okay.
we're saying if H2 is the word
equals.
full time, so then it's the word full time. Parentheses, yep, then comma,
Comma.
then you're gonna say yes.
If you just
What
put a
what did you
space
do
in
there? What did
I
you
don't
do?
know what.
Yeah, undo and Command Z,
Ah.
Command Z. You don't know what you did. Hit escape. You have to, when it messes up like that, you have to hit escape and start again. Now you can go up. Now go up to the formula bar and keep writing it in there. Yeah.
Put a
So,
space after it.
yeah, but you have an extra space that you shouldn't have behind the comma. So
Yes.
take that space away. No, but you have it before that. Yeah, take that space away. Okay. Yes. Then put a comma after. Yep. And then say no without spaces. Yeah. Perfect. And that's what you want because you're, in this case, perfect. So you get one answer.
Right.
Now
And
go
then you
back to
said,
that. Now go to the yes, which is your answer. And now go down to the little fill button, fill box. No, that one. Yeah. And double click. Well, actually try it. Wait, don't drag because it's for 700 rows. That's
I
why I
know.
want to find the shortcut. Right. And just double click. And
oh
there you
my
go.
Lord, that is so.
Now you got the same result though. See, let me just wait. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to stop you from enjoying the
Yeah, I
magic.
know. Have your moment. Right.
But you did get not only the same result as having put the whole thing, because in the end it was right. Does wherever that range, if it says full time, give me the yes or no. So it makes sense that it worked. But for some reason you have that little triangle that it didn't happen into me. I don't know why it keeps telling you that it's an unprotected formula, but anyway.
But it's not there now.
I have it too.
Karen?
I have
You
the
have it
green
too?
thing.
Okay, well, then, maybe if I were to be doing it on the PC, it would be happening too. So anyway, Sal, do you see what's happening here?
Yes,
Do you have any
teacher, I have
question?
already done.
You
it's
did
okay.
it. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Deanna,
Yes.
this is like part of the bigger picture of like, this is why I'm saying I forgot about just clicking on the little formatting box, the bottom box, because it's like, I don't work with this enough. I just, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
So,
the
right,
formula bar, you
okay.
mean? Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If I just clicked on that, if I just double clicked on that little plus sign, that little, it
Then
would
it
have
goes
just,
it up there. Yeah.
and it's
Then it-
like, I knew that, but it slipped my mind. So this is,
That's fine. Well, that's why you can always, yeah, you can always write inside of the formula bar and it's, separated from the rest of the stuff. So it's a cleaner look at it.
so
Okay.
ergo, I'm envious of Karen because she's like, she deals with this hell charts every day.
Hey, envious? No, I mean,
Well, I mean, so that she has,
Yeah.
that she works with it so she can like,
Well,
yeah.
I'm nerdy that way. I like playing with spreadsheets.
that's great. So then, so then you can use this also to say, okay, if these people got trained, like the second one, the department, right? It says training department or whatever. So all the people in the training department, notice that it's sorted by column C. By default, not right now. If you look at, you'll see that in department column C, it's AADC, and then it says training, and then it says environment, and it says facilities. So somehow, actually, but it's A, B, C, D, E, F. So no, it's not sorted by that. I'm wondering what it's sorted by.
The sorting rules depart.
I'm trying to
Oh.
see what it's sorted by. I can't tell what the default sorting is here.
Isn't that a grouping or
Maybe it's number, maybe it isn't sorted by anything, and this is just entered data. I don't know. But anyway, that's the if function. Now, there's
There's a little thing that I clicked on next to the green arrow, the little triangle that Mary's talking about with the exclamation point. And if you click on that and say, figure out what to clear or whatever, there's a resolution in here on it.
normally that's what it gives you, but it wasn't doing that in Andrew. That's why I dropped it. But normally it gives you an idea.
It's clear. Yeah.
Can you share your screen to see what it shows you? Because that's what I would have thought.
Well,
I
now that I opened it, it'll share. So it's that thing. Then I said, help on this error. And it brought up.
Hold on. I need to make it bigger. There we go. Okay. Oh, the whole help came in up there on the right. So why do I get an unprotected formula? When you're evaluating.
Your
In this case,
green
the
tri-
cell container formula is not locked for protection. This is weird. There's no cells aren't locked to
So
protect them.
resolution is lock the cell by doing one of the following. Click the error checking button next to the cell and then click lock cell. So, lock cell.
Locks cell.
There, it goes away.
But what does that mean? Because you can still go in and change that. It's not like it's locked. Can you go in and change that formula? Go up there and change it to maybe if it says, yeah, you can still affect it, right? Yeah. So I don't know what it means by that, but anyway.
Hey, Deanna, are we gonna do an X lookup on this
By the way,
file?
hold on. By the
Okay.
way, give it a try there. Instead of saying no, just have it only say yes. So go up to the formula and just get rid of the no and put only the two, no, say comma, and then just 2 quotation marks. Just a second quotation mark and then say hit return. And now, double click that one down. No, you did the formula. Hold on, you did the formula on that one, yeah, and double click that one down. Nope, then it didn't work. Hold on, go up.
Yeah, there's no, but there's all yeses where it matches.
Yeah, but
That's-
not for her. It should have, but it didn't.
Oh, no,
Oh.
it did. It just, I don't know.
Go back, no, the one that has, wait. The one that's, yeah, that one, yeah, now that one, do that, double click.
Now
There
it
we go.
works.
So now you only get yeses. Right?
And I
mean-
just had to delete everything, so.
Oh, you did it on the, you had already done it on the right side. Okay, there you go. Based on the rating, which is what we were doing when we did it again. For Andrew. Yes, Andrew?
Okay, what if we did like, if you are in the training department and you're full-time, your bonus is $5,000. If you're on the ADC department and you're part-time, your bonus is $1,000. You know what I mean? Can you set if rules like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should we go for it or not?
Calculate,
Or
or
should we not?
calculate if they give yes and yes in those two, and then make it 2% of their comp or something.
Or like facilities, like, you know, like, is there a way that should we go for it? Excel wizards?
I'm sorry, I'm actually working on another line. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I'm looking at the formula. Mine isn't working, so I'm trying to figure out why. I was trying a new formula and it isn't working, so. Okay, can you show me the bonus based on rating, the one that you just created there?
oh, I didn't do that.
No, I'm looking at her because I was putting the space,
Oh.
probably, oh, I know, I have a space in my. Yeah, I have a space in my thing, in the front of the no. That's why. Okay,
That's Karen's department. Let's see.
I still don't, mine still isn't working. Show me yours again. If
Yeah.
J2,
J2 greater equals than 3, I put, and then comma, quote, yes, quote, comma, full quote.
I'm using 4 instead, which is the same, it should still work. It's telling me there's a problem in my formula, so let me try to compare my formula to yours, because mine is, it's comma. Yesterday when I was working, oh, I left a quotation mark. I had left the quotation mark behind the 3 because I just shifted the same formula from before instead of writing it, and I had an extra quotation mark there. There we go. All right, so let me stop your share. Thank you. Make this smaller again. And let's go to a different kind of if analysis. And again, you have the file. It's called, let me see what it's called. I think it's just called what if. Let me check.
What if analysis?
Do you have it?
Yeah,
Yeah, what
what
if
if-
analysis? Yeah, it's after the VLOOKUP, the what if analysis.
Got that one? Let's see.
Go ahead and open that one. And I have. That's concatenate. Okay. I'll move that. All right. So, and let me close this thing. I have, Again.
Something we need to do.
what's that?
We needed to do an if on second column.
I was just doing the if analysis based on rating instead of based on full times. And then Andrew asked for help, so I switched mine back to ratings, but to full time. But Karen went ahead and make another column. Do you want to share again for a second to show to Mary what we did? I just did the same. We just did the same formula on the other side. I already closed mine. There it is. She's sharing it again. Where instead of having it be you get a bonus if you're full-time, it's you get a bonus if you have a job rating of, I said 5 or more, she said 3 or more. So basically 4s and 5s get bonuses in her case. So in that case, she wrote yes, but then because of the example I gave with the CGF, by not putting anything in the no, it just gives an empty cell, right? And so this time, instead of yes, no, you just have yeses and then empty, empty, yeses and empty, empty. Unless you put in a no, then you get no's. And then you can double click go and double click the little fill button. There you go. So now you get yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Did that work?
Yeah.
Mary, yeah? Did you do that, Sal? That's when you came in, when we were doing that one, Sal, and then I stopped to ask something. Andrew asked something and I backed out of that. Did you do that one or you got that one?
I'm doing it now. I only have one screen.
Got it. No, I know you're doing it. I was asking Sal. Cause he joined us right at that point.
Yeah, so give me a second.
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
I'm trying to figure out the last column about after job writing. Did you type manually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so that one is going to be if, again, equals if. And then this time it's the job rating that you care about. So we went to J2 where there's a number 5. Right? So can you double click on your yes so we can see the formula right there? Karen, please.
Oh,
If
Double-
J2 is
Yeah. So
bigger,
then J2, if it is bigger or equal to 3, she's generous. I made mine 4. Her company has a lot of money.
J2,
Then you write between parentheses, yes. And in this example, we, instead of wanting yes, no's, we had said only 2 parentheses. You need to put something in that example, but you can't, by not putting anything, what you're doing is you're putting an
I want to
empty space.
I have to say that my problem is with my keyboard because I'm
Ah.
more familiar with the Spanish one. I
Uh,
can find the
the quotation marks or,
Y-
the
no,
plus minus. In
I'm
my
trying
keyboard,
to-
yeah, in my keyboard, there to the right of the letter M, between the M and the question mark. It's shift
Okay.
comma and shift period.
There you are. Yeah.
Yeah, our keyboard, me too, when I have my Spanish keyboard, and now I've gotten accustomed to this one after so many years, but whenever I go back home and I use my mom's keyboard, I'm a disaster because I can't remember anything. Our keyboards in the other language change, you guys. I don't know if you knew that, but
Yeah,
it's a
according with
different
this
keyboard.
conditional is if this column, J column is bigger than 5, it's going bigger or equal to 3 is going to
To
be
3 or to 4, then it'll be a yes. So people who
It-
have 3, 4, and 5 get a bonus.
either no, right? If no, if it's smaller, it's a no.
Then
Okay.
it's a no. Mhm.
Thank you, teacher. I got it.
You're welcome. And then, yeah, since you changed that top one,
What,
don't forget to double click. to
didn't
bring
we
it
do
down.
it, or didn't we do a value? If J2 is greater than or equal to 3, comma, we can put in a value, 5,000.
Yeah, you can have it answer what you want it to answer. You want, instead of saying yes, you want it to say 5,000. Yeah, you can do that. I mean,
Okay.
it's just words, right? So do you want to try that?
Close parentheses. So
Instead of
boom.
yes, you write,
Alice is generous.
yeah.
I know, what,
Then you write
Okay.
5,000. And then, and the others, it's so sad because then the others just get no, 5,000 or no.
I know, nothing.
Probably we can make a beep.
Yeah, I
no.
like that. A little sound effect. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, you know what though? It
Game over.
defaults just, it says false if you don't, that's interesting. It
Mhm.
says false if you don't put any, can I
Mhm.
share my screen? Or no, not really?
Yeah, if you don't put the last icon in, the last argument in there, you're saying it says false?
Yeah, it just says false. It's an easy workaround, but
Yeah, go ahead. We can go ahead and share it and then we'll move on.
all right. God, I got so many files up.
Try
All
it with
right.
other things. I mean, we've have so many files that we've been opening. Open another file that we might have a lot of data on and try an if analysis
Is this the right one? Yeah.
just to try it out while we're looking at this one. So
formula's on the top.
you just wrote 5,000 and you didn't, because it's numbers, you didn't have to put it between quotation marks. And
Right.
it worked.
But
Um,
do you see all those falses? How do I, yeah,
because it didn't, it's false because it didn't fulfill that that condition. So in
oh, so
order to
I
get,
put
so
the comma and
so
an
you
open
need to
quote,
put the comma,
no
and
quotes,
give it
right,
2 quotes. So go ahead after 5,000, include a comma and 2 quote marks.
right.
And then hit return, and now double click that little box, the fill box, and get it to pull to go down.
Wow, okay,
So
cool.
now it's a bit more, not false,
Yeah,
false worker.
I know. It's
They're
like,
not
it's-
workers. Now they just don't get anything. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a word. You can put the word bonus, right? I mean, or yes, got bonus. I mean, you can put whatever you want. It's just whatever you put in there is what's going to come up. In your case, it's 5,000 or nothing. All right.
yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Also,
For
you
now.
can add in a conditional formatting to this cell if you want to make it more visible.
Add that, we can add that. Yeah, at the very beginning, I said you weren't here. You could have done this with conditional formatting, with filtering, with sorting. The only difference is that this gives you a result in a column that stays no matter the conditional formatting. But yes, you can add to that. You can add to that row now a conditional formatting and actually make it be like when it's a yes, make it green. When it's a no, make it red. And then that's even more obvious, more visible, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's perfect. Mhm.
Teacher, just a basic question is about when it's supposed when I start in typing in the K column, it's supposed that it should follow the same format as the table, because when I type
Can you
bonus
share your
based on,
screen? Because I
yeah,
don't,
sure.
I already closed that file because I thought we were moving on and I'm fine, but I need you to share the screen. I can open it again,
Share.
but
I'm
so I can understand your
sharing.
question.
Can you see
Hold on, I need to open it on my front main. Okay, so
this one?
yes,
This title is
Yeah.
supposed that should follow this format
yeah.
when I start typing. But I mean, I can make this
Oh,
one.
yeah, go
But
for.
it's supposed
Mhm.
that automatically it's supposed that when I started to
Not always. If it's a table, yes. And if you have just been writing them, then yes. But since you haven't written that, Excel works based on patterns. So depending on if it was just written, if there's all this other stuff going on, if you then put something in there, it doesn't automatically inherit the formatting. It does if it's a table. Last week we did tables. And if this whole thing had been a table, it would inherit the formatting, but otherwise you have to do
Okay.
it. Now, if
Okay.
you are now, try now though, since you just formatted it, go back to bonus based on rating, since you just formatted it, now hit the tab to the right and let's see if it carries over the formatting and write something. And then say
No.
return. No, it doesn't. Because whenever you start
Okay.
doing something and you just do it like in a row, column A, B, C, D, D, then it just goes, oh, you're trying to do a lot of these, and then it follows the formatting. But these little disjointed adding, it doesn't necessarily. It's a bit better in the bottom. If you have formatting and you add another row, it picks up formatting more easily than column. Column, it's more iffy when it does pick up the formatting. Mhm.
Okay. Thank you, teacher.
All right.
Sorry.
You're welcome. Okay. Let me close that up so that I can see you guys. All right. Let's go open the what if analysis. And I believe I had already opened it. So let me go over here. Yeah, there's the what if analysis. Okay. So let me make it a bit bigger. And actually I should share my screen. So let me share my screen. Here we go. All right. So the what if analysis is, it's also if analysis, but this uses a little kind of a little wizard. I'm sorry, I'm completely. All right.
Are we boring you?
I know. You know what, you guys, this is the last day of the last class of all my summer session classes, because I already completed my Friday class last week. So you guys are the last of it, and you can, it's like one of those, my body's
Congratulations,
like,
teacher.
thank you. I'm gonna have a few weeks before I start
Yeah.
again.
Although you're working tirelessly on that exercise workbook that we were talk
extremely hard.
about.
Name of the book then.
All right. So,
Right.
so sometimes you don't have exact numbers and you're kind of guesstimating at stuff. And instead of guesstimating, you can actually have Excel figure it out for you. So in this example, and this is very apropos I try to teach this one to my students. I don't know how much they use it. At least my Excel students, I hope they use it. Because if you know that you got, all these grades, you got 58 points, 70, 70, 60. In order to pass the class, you need 70 points, right? So in your final exam, there's a number, there's a point you need to get in order for your final grade to be 70. So right now, you can figure out your average. And your average right now, let's go ahead and do that. Who remembers how to figure an average out? How would I figure the average of these grades right now?
Multiply them all and divide by the number of
Add.
variables.
Yeah, that would be the long way around. Or
the
there's
sum.
a function,
Average? Okay.
average. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
average. So we'll do equals and then average, and there it is, average. You write in there. And then you select, right, all your assignments, including final exam, because that's going to be an assignment too. And you close your parentheses and hit return. So now basically you're at 65. And that's not going to be a passing grade. Passing grade is 70. Okay, so if we know that, I'm going to write over here. So just so that, this is passing grade is 70. Right. And this doesn't need to be written here. It's just for you guys to understand what is happening. And so this person's like, wow, I'm about to fail the class unless I really study. What's the minimum? What's the grade I need to get in order to pass this class? And this is the kind of thing where most of us would just guesstimate, like, I just got to get a high number here. Well, hoping to hit 70. But there's a what if analysis under the data tab, which is, well, if this, then what, right? To get this number here for me. So let's head over to the what if analysis in the data tab. Click on that. And then we're going to go to the one called goal seek. Goal seek. It's the simplest one of those choices. So what we really want is this number to end up in 70. Our goal is to have 70 points or more, but the minimum that we want there is 70. So we're going to have to set cell B7 in this case, set cell B7 to the value, what?
B6 or B7?
B7, because let me explain again. This has to turn out to be 70. And this number will be affected. Say I put in, 40 in here and I hit return.
Yeah.
If I put 2, I get a 2 in the exam. My grade is a final because remember, this has been included in the formula, right? And the average, this has been included. So if I get a 0, then I've got a final grade of 52. If I get 100 points, then I've got a grade of 72. But I want to know exactly what grade I need to get to make this be a 70, to know that that's as good as I need to get it. Does that make sense? Without guessing. I can guess back and forth this until I've hit upon a number. But if I do the,
Cool.
if I do, I thought, you who work with data, I'm sure these things are pretty cool for you. What if analysis, hit the goal seek. And so over here, what I want to get to, so yes, B7, I want to get to 70. How? By changing this cell, B6. So this one has to change. And now that I've got those numbers there, I'm going to go, okay, let Excel calculate it. And I'll say, okay. And it found a solution. I got to get 90 points in my final exam for this to get a 70 in my class. Yes, Andrew?
Why are you doing the absolute reference with the dollar signs?
I
Right.
wasn't doing it. It's the system. So let me
Oh, I didn't, oh,
let me go ahead and did that work? Average, yeah. So I'm gonna go with the what if analysis again. And I want that cell. And that comes in automatically as the cell to be
okay.
points. And I want to change this cell. I'll go, okay. And there's my solution. All right.
What if analysis, goal seek? We're going to do final grade to 70.
Mhm.
Oh, that's really, God, that's really cool.
Yeah. So now we're gonna head over to the second one. And for
Wow.
anyone who has to organize stuff, this one's really cool. So this one is an example where you have actually a budget. You have a budget, and the budget that you've been given, let's say is $500. So you need to work within $500. So you need to see how many people you can invite, because each person's meal or attendance costs you $14.50. Plus, you had to spend $230 to reserve the place. So how many guests can you invite? Right? So this isn't my budget. This is the budget I get now. This is how much I spent now, right? Because what I've spent now, if you click on here, it's going to be B2 plus B3. And then we want to know times this number. This has to give us 500. So right now it gives us 230 because the formula is already in there. To find out what budget, how much it's going to cost, I'm going to have, this is the fee. So I'm going to have 230 flat. And then to find out how many guests, I'm going to have to do this times that. But what is that number for this to give us 500? Since right now, B plus 2 is going times 0, it's giving us this number.
Right.
So now we're going to have to do, again, the goal seek. So let's go over to goal seek. And so, yes, we want to set this one to be 500. We want to max out our budget. So if B5 is going to be 500, what cell has to change? This one, the number of guests. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave this here for a second for you guys to see that. For basically what I'm trying to get to is 500 budget, because that's what I've been told is the budget for this event. So I want this to end up being 500. This is already a formula. Got it? Like the other one had average. This one has a plus and a times. So this is my variable number that I don't know. So that's the one that has to change. All right. So I'm going to say, okay. And it found a solution. I can invite 18.62 people.
You have to cut somebody in half.
Now, remember about rounding out? I can go over here and I can round out the numbers over here. I can just go ahead and say less or more. So I'm going to decrease the decimal points. And when you decrease one more, boom, it's going to round it out. That is the opposite. Because if we do this, you would have thought this would have changed. So be careful with rounding out, because in reality, when you get 18.6, that means you have to invite one less, right? Or you're going to go over budget. So when you round it out, this, because it was 0.6 something, it rounds out to 19. But then how come the numbers don't change? I tried to show you this at the beginning, but I think in this case it's more logical, because you would think, okay, let's get 19 people, but if the answer was 19, you'd be spending 500 and I don't know, $5. Because look at what happens. Although it says 19 here, when you round out with this, in this formula bar, it still is calculating everything with the original number. It says 19. It's like the face, the presentation of the cell is 19, but the calculations are still happening with 16.62, 18.62. So this ends up being wrong, and you're going to end up having to beg for more money for the budget because you did it wrong. So be careful with rounding out when you're doing this kind of situation, because it does not, it does use 18.6, even though it says 19. Okay, just thought I'd show you that. So basically you should only invite 18 people and have a tad left over for a mini tip, I guess. I don't know. No tip out of 18. All right.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
I'm sure we could define it. I mean, there's a way to truncate rather than round, correct?
To truncate it at 18.2. I have the round. I don't know if there's a way to truncate it, because when you decrease the decimals, it doesn't just like drop that. It rounds it out. Whenever you want to decrease decimals, you need to round out. There's no way to, if you just truncate it, the number isn't exact. So I don't think Excel works with inexact numbers.
Well, I mean, it's not actually rounding it. It is just showing it.
Yeah, it's
You know,
just
it's
it's a presentation number. But if you do truncate that and you present this to some, they go, oh, okay, I can invite 19 people. So I'm just saying, be careful with that, depending on when or not. If you're just trying to count your budget and you're counting every cent, yeah, sure, round out, because, you know, basically it doesn't matter. You know, you're in budget or whatever. But in this case, if the answer you're looking for is a number has to be very specific, rounding out is a dangerous way to go. That's all. Well, not so dangerous. You'll end up a little bit over budget, but you know, there we go. All right, did that work for everyone? No, Sal?
No, teacher, I had problem with the formula in the second tab and in this one. Can you tell me,
Go
please?
ahead and go ahead and share.
Yes, thank you, teacher. Am I sharing yet? Oh no. Here. Okay, let me try to do by myself. What if
I
goal
need to get it
I
bigger.
mean,
Hold on. There we go.
the set cell is gonna be this one, right?
The set cell is going to be B5, because that has to be 500.
And we said that we have.
You
put
need to
this
change
500.
cell. The number the one that has to change is not that one, but the number of guests has to change. So one underneath, the one that's underneath. The price per person is fixed. We don't decide that. That was the company told me, the restaurant or whatever told me that's the price. So that's the one that's going to be a variable.
Okay.
And it figured it out.
Okay. Another quick question, teacher. What about, for example, if I type a formula here, every time that I put in this cell, it's supposed that I am able to see the formula in this bar. But what
Always,
about this one? Is there any way to notice that?
Well, there's no formula there.
No formula, but I apply this
That what if
function?
analysis did it without giving you a formula. It's something it figured out.
Okay.
But we didn't write a formula in there. It's the Excel used some manner of calculation that gives us a result, but there's no formula. It's like if you were to try to go, you receive this from someone else and you look at it and you go, how did they come up with this number? In this point, the number is correct, because if you double click on 500, right? That is correct. It's basically saying this time 1450, right? Times 18.62
It's gonna be less than
is gonna be a number plus 230, right? And it's gonna give you the 500. So this formula is correct. It's just that we didn't know one of those numbers, so Excel calculated it for us. But there is no need for there is no need. Excel needed to do some calculation, but it didn't tell us how. It just figured it out and gave us the number to make the formula and that's in the bottom turn out to be correct. Does that make sense?
Yes,
The
teacher.
formula still isn't there. Before, with that empty number, with that empty space, we were getting a number that didn't mean anything. So now that formula is correct. So B2 plus B3, so no, not B2 plus B3, I'm sorry. You guys, when you read this, the multiplication goes first. Remember the order of formula, order of
The
operations?
factors, yes.
So B3 times B4 is what's happening here, right? So 18 people, 0.6 times 1450 gives us a number, plus 230 should equal 500. In your handouts, let me stop your share and let me see if I can find the
Thank you, teacher.
handouts. You're welcome. No, thank you. There's this order of operations, and I usually do a whole exercise with this that I didn't do with you guys. And I did not do this in Spanish. In English, I mean, when I went to school in Spanish, and we didn't have this, but this is supposed to be something that people remember in English as PEMDAS, P-E-M-D. I don't know how it turns out to depend. Oh, PEMD.
Yeah, what's the mnemonic?
Yeah, so it's P parentheses, exponentiation, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. I guess that's what people think of as PEMDAS. Anyway, I don't have, my brain doesn't go that way because I learned this in Spanish, so that doesn't work for me. But anyway, I don't remember what we used to learn it, but basically anything that's in parentheses go first. So the one way to write that would have been open parentheses on the last two and close them, but it was unnecessary because multiplication and division will be paid attention to before addition and subtraction. Okay, so in that example that said something plus this times that, then the this times that will happen first, just because the order of operations, then the thing would have been added to it. It would have been cleaner and clearer had we put a parentheses between, B3 times B4. It's just easier to read. You know that happens first because the first thing ever is parentheses. But just by knowing that multiplication happens before plus sign, it's still a correct operation. Okay, this is in your handouts and when you downloaded the files, you downloaded this one, and it's part of the downloads just to help you out. Okay. All right. Just thought I'd show you that. All right. And then there's one more example in that same, let me close that, in that same file. Let me share my screen again. Which is the one that I'm sharing? This one, right? Yeah. What if? Okay. So then this challenge here. This one, there's a bunch of sales, right? And you have an average you need to reach. Yeah, you have a number you want to reach as average. And that's a goal, like the company's goal is, and you put in a goal in there, whatever it might be. So say that the company's goal is 200,000. You just write that in there, this is just like, that's it, 200,000. What amount do you need to make in June for this to round out? Okay. So first thing we need to do here is that we need to get the average of these. Sorry, the 200,000 doesn't go there. Like before, 500 is our goal. So let me just, let me copy this in there. So if 200,000 is our goal, then to get 200,000 here, we need to find what number is going to go there. So if this number has to average to be 200,000, so I'm going to equal average. I'm going to use all of these and close. We're not there yet. It's kind of like the grade. Oh, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Oh, yeah.
There,
Parentheses,
please excuse-
multiplication, exponents.
Yeah. There's
What? Wait.
Mary wrote in the chat, use the acronym, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, do it, yeah. Exponentiation and parentheses. Yeah, there you go. So parentheses, exponentiation. I like that one better. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Yeah, I like that one better. It's easier to remember than PEMDAS. All right, so this is the same example as the one that we began with, right? So I'm going to head over to data, what if analysis, goal seek. And I'll let you guys do it without watching me. How about I just wait for a second and you guys tell me what the result, you guys read out or tell me or write it out. What do you get for for this number? And then I'll do it. How's it going?
I'm trying to get the average. I'm flailing on the average here.
Has anyone gotten it or is writing, write it in the chat? How much money do I need, does the company or me or someone need to make in June in order for this
261.
number?
Okay, let me type.
Yep,
Don't tell me.
yep, that is correct.
So to get
Anyone-
200,000.
Anyone else got, and anyone else got to that number?
Don't tell me.
What's that? What are you saying?
Don't tell me. I'm working on
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat. And as soon as I say that, your eyes are gonna go, oh.
I know. I gotta
You're
look.
not supposed to look at the thing you're being told not to look at, right? Anyway,
Goal seek. Okay. For value.
so Mary and Karen, you guys got it? You guys did it? You wanna?
By changing cell B7.
So basically, I'm gonna just do it over here. What we need to do is go to the what if analysis, goal seek.
Right.
So the one that needs to change is this guy. So you can just first start by thinking, this is the one that needs to change, right? So put in here and do that. But for this to change, what needs to happen? Well, this guy there, right there, has to, my end goal is to have it be 200,000. Okay. So for this to turn out to be 200,000, that number has to change. Say, okay. And there I am. Okay. All right.
I keep getting this cell must contain a formula. God.
Well, let
So
me
annoying.
cancel this and do this again.
Mine did that too, because I deleted it. I think you have to go and do the average on that cell first, and then you can do it.
Yeah, first you need to have an average. So you first need to figure out.
I
a
got the
number.
average. I got the average here. I got this.
Did you include June?
No.
Okay, include June. Because it's gonna be the total number of 200,000 has to come with these not missing out on June. Like you have to have January, February, March, April, May is what we have. June needs to be a number that averaged out turns into 200,000. So you need to include it in your average, right? And then we need to figure out what this number is. And that's what we do here. Because but right now, by it saying 0, that means that we're under, but we haven't put in this number yet. So of course we're under. We haven't put anything in June. So it makes sense that we're under. For it to be 200,000, that's my goal. Okay, and let me give it a different color because then it looks like, so if my goal is for this to be, hello. I must have some formatting on it. I don't know. Why doesn't it? I guess it's not a fill. Whatever. That's when you do for this to turn into 200,000, you need a number in there. But to be exact, you would have to do this calculation. I mean, before learning the what if, you could just sit in here and go, well, what if I only make 100,000 that year? Right? And you hit return. Up.
Okay, so
100.
I'm highlighting these all
What's
these.
happening here? I'm at it's not nothing's working here. I'm putting in a number here. And nothing's changing. Something weird is happening here. I'm going to close the file and open it again because sometimes that wasn't deleting and this one isn't working. So let me stop my share here for a second and open the file again. Let me not save and open it again because it's just like it's stopped responding. Okay. Let's see now. Oh, I guess I had saved. Okay, so now, oh, I need to share. Here I am. Okay, so basically, this has to say 200,000. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to put in numbers, right? What if we make $10,000 that month, right? That's it. It's like, whoops, we're going to fall short. What if I make 100,000? We're still falling short. So I can start guessing 150,000, right? But instead of guessing, okay, how about if I make 300,000? Oh, we're over the mark. It's so hard to know what that number is, right? And
Sure.
so that's what we're using the what if analysis for. I can.
So what cell, so are you highlighting that? It doesn't matter what cell you're highlighting?
No, it doesn't matter what I'm highlighting because I'm going to put it in here, whatever I need to do. So I'm going to just delete that and in the set cell to be 200,000, 200,000. So that one.
Oh, so we want B8 to be.
Yeah, B8 has to end up being 200,000.
Ah, now that I get
So
it.
the variable one that we don't know is the empty one. And then we'll say, okay. And the calculation happening inside of there gives us that number. But again, this number isn't a formula, which by the way, thanks for pointing that out, Sal, because it just is a number that is a goal for us to be able to hit our mid-year average. If we make more, hallelujah. If we make less, oh well, right? But that's a goal that we needed to discover based on this formula. So that's why there's no formula there. How did we get to it? We can say, we can write, we goal seek, right? Like, how did we get to that number? Because it doesn't exist. Like, this is a hypothetical. But other than that, it's the number that will let me hit that. Got it now? All cool? Mary, all good
Yep.
down there? I can't hear you, Mary, but I think that you've been doing fine, but just make sure. I noticed that I I saved the sample file, so I'm deleting the numbers because I saved the sample file. There we go. Now I'm going to save it because I had, right. The sample file can't be sold. All right. I'm going to share with you guys one more thing here. Well, a couple more things, and then we're gonna do a break, and then we're gonna do pivot tables when we come back. Concatenate. I,
And I have a question in chat.
yeah, oh. Maybe, but since I don't know what the goal seek is doing, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, would, you would have to be able to put in the numbers. I'm not sure. How about you try it? Because there's the I guess you could write the whole hypothetical. I mean, it almost is like the goal seek is almost a macro. You'd have to find a way to put that hypothetical in there and indicate where you want it, and it'll be changing each time, but I don't know if that feature allows itself to be prompted by a macro. Yeah. I don't know. We can try, you can try it. I don't know. Whenever I don't know, I just have to try it out. I love it when people come up with questions that I hadn't even thought of. All right, so here's the thing about this one that I'm about to, so this is called concatenate practice, and I'm pretty sure that, let me make sure that you guys have it. Oh,
Is this a new file?
you do not have concatenate practice. But doesn't matter. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna stop that share, but how about we use the same one that we've been using? No. The same one that we just used. Let me open up. That one had a lot of info. What was the name of the one that we were just using? The what if, well, not the what if had a lot. The if function, I think, had a lot of, yeah, the if has a lot. So let's go to if, open the if function again. There's a lot of data on that one, and I know you have that one. Mine starts again without the results because I'm opening the beginning one without what we just did, without the if functions in there, but that's okay. So let me share my screen. I'm kind of torn about the concatenate function because we used to teach it because it's basically almost been replaced by the fill button, I would say, but I'm going to show it to you guys and you can see what you think, because yeah, doesn't make sense. Let me actually I'm looking for the sample file. Hold on. Maybe this one. So say that I have, it's the opposite. You know how with the fill button, not with the fill button, with the, when we went to data with the flash fill, not the fill button, with the flash fill, remember how we got things to join and disconnect and, you know, all that kind of thing. So the concatenate, I'll show it to you really quickly because I now do the fill function for this, the fill flash fill for this, especially when we discovered this time how good it was. But imagine that what you want is something like page Lisa, because what you have been given is page last name, Lisa first name, for example, right? A lot of the times this is how you would write a name. Usually it's not written that way in an Excel sheet. So if you have this and you want to get page Lisa, again, I'm kind of shrugging it off because now we can just do that with the flash fill. But if you want to do it with the concatenate, then you would go equals concat, and they're the same. Concatenate now is called concat. And then you click on the ones, you click on what you want. Let me just I've got another thing interrupting me. Okay, concat. And then you just go this, comma, and this. Now, notice that we're not going to get that page, comma, Lisa. If this is what we write, when I hit return, I get page Lisa,
Okay.
right? Because it joined them. So if we actually want to get a better description of that, the formula, I'm going to go back, and this is where the formula is a bit better than the flash fill, because we can format it. The flash fill, although last time we did the flash fill, that's why I was amazed by it. We added a dash and whatever, and it worked. But in this case, what we would have to do is we would have to add in the middle a space, so that it would be space, it would be page space Lisa. And a space you would add by having two
Two quotes.
quotation marks, but in the middle, a space. So a space is a character, you guys, in Excel and Word, a space is an actual character. And so you add that space in there, right? And then after that, you hit a comma again. So then it becomes your entire formula. So let's look at it over here.
Hey,
So if
Deanna,
we
will you
went to-
increase that? Will you magnify that a little bit?
Mhm. I'm gonna go
Thanks.
over, I guess I can go over here to magnify it. Oh. Hold on, because
Oops.
I lost it. I'll do it again.
Control tilde that.
So you would have to do a space between the quotation marks and then comma again to separate the arguments. And when you have that there, then you hit return, and now you get page space Lisa. Now, what if you wanted to do page, comma, Lisa? Right?
You would go quote, comma, space, end quote.
And this
Yeah.
one's harder because it's a comma, but there you go. I put the comma in front of the space within the quote. So it's comma space is the phrase that I'm adding. This comma is not part of the argument because it's between the quotation marks, okay? So then you get the result, page Lisa, and let me just drag it down here. Oops. I don't have anything here, so there's nothing for it to do here. Let me call it, let me say Smith, Mark, okay? So then if I drag this one down, it'll do Mark Smith. And I'm doing that just so that you can see this is the piece that's a little bit tricky because you need to add. Okay. Between quotation marks, you add what you want, which is this, a comma and a space. And then that gets added to it. Yep, Andrew.
Concatenate means link things together in a chain or series. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. It's kind of like the thing that sticks things together.
Oh, okay.
Now, I have to say that I'm going to copy these down here, and I'm going to say that with the flash fill, page, comma, Lisa, by doing that, let's go, remember I taught you the flash fill at the very beginning. If I do that, it didn't add a comma, so they may not work. Maybe that for that, you still do need the concatenate. You need to see I have so much other stuff here that it's getting confused. I need to make it bigger and have it happen over here because it needs to go up and have its own space. Okay, so now it doesn't have other stuff in the way. It'll probably figure it out. Okay, so if I tell it to say page Lisa, hit return and go flash fill, Smith Mark appears. But if I say page, comma Lisa, this is the one that I don't know. If I do flash fill, yep. See, this wasn't happening before. So this is what we figured out the other day. I was so amazed whenever weeks ago when we figured this out, that the flash fill actually can do that now. So it's almost like why bother with the concatenate, right? Which we had to use forever before. So, yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that. But there you go. It's on the curriculum, so I'm
Where-
showing you.
Where is the flash go under? Data?
Excuse me, what's that?
Where was the flash bill? Under what tab?
Under data. Yeah, right there.
I'm sorry. What were we doing though? I mean, I saw Lisa Page, but how do we get to Mark Smith? Where is
I
he?
just, because since I got so big, I couldn't use the exact examples, but here, you had asked me to make it bigger. So instead of Mark Smith, let me just take Mark Smith out of the way. I was using, here we go, Taylor Hector, okay? So
Mhm.
Hector Taylor, it doesn't matter. I was just using, oh, Hector. Hector Taylor, it doesn't matter. That was just a name to keep it going. That's all. And this isn't even, so if I go and do this now, then it gives me the Hector Taylor. Okay,
All right.
it's a
I'll
way of
figure it out.
joining information that's on two different pages. Two
Oh.
different columns, I'm sorry.
Yeah, how did you get the information in K and L? Did you just retype it from column A?
Yeah, I just did, because the file, you guys don't have the concatenate file. I said, oh, open the concatenate files, you guys don't have it. So I just went, okay, let's invent it. And I just went, the example file has two names, one in each column. And then we do the concatenate. But since you do have this one, I'm kind of inventing the sample file out of this. That's all. It's just me being, let's make happen the example that I need to give you, which is this. So yeah, that was, I'm sorry if that was
Okay.
confusing. The actual
You need the
concatenate,
function.
the concatenate file that you guys don't have is, which, let me go get it. I thought you guys had it, which is this one. So that you guys can understand what I was trying to do. Is this one. So this is the file that we would have,
I
this is
thought
what
you
we would
were
have done.
using a function.
No, so we were gonna go and put these two together over, over here. Or that's it. But since you guys don't have this file, I just had you redo it on the top. But in this case, so just to show you how this would work, say that here I would want to have equals concatenate, concat, then I would go this, comma, and then open parentheses, comma, space, not parentheses, quotation marks, comma, Richard, close parentheses, return, then I get new originals. And I hit
We have a file called long addresses, and that has first and last.
that has first and last. Okay, we can do it there.
Yeah.
So let's, and then so let me stop the share and let's open the long addresses. There we go. Long, everyone go to the file because it looks like I had IntelliJ put in one called long addresses, which we use for different examples here and there. And there we go. Oh, this is the one that I used at first that I was surprised by the Ms. and Mr. and Mrs. There we go. In fact, let's use that. Let's concatenate and have it be Mr. Alex Daniels. Let's have that be our. So let's say equals concat. And then we're going to say, I need you to join Mr. and Mrs. comma.
Are you sharing?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Mary, for keeping me straight. Long addresses. Here we go. So, okay.
Diana.
Yes.
Something kind of came up and I have to eject myself from this class, but
Okay.
I mean, I feel so empowered with Excel. I think you guys are getting into realms that are beyond the course and scope of my know-how.
No,
Or-
these are simple formulas. Trust me. I mean,
Yeah, I
they're just
know,
little bits and pieces, but yeah.
but you
But-
know, I'm
so
not like,
listen to this. You're gonna miss out on pivot tables, which is really important. So watch the recording, okay?
I will, and
right.
I'm gonna email you because I want to confer with you. But you're awesome. Thank you very
All
much.
right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Right. So
Bye.
I'm gonna hit the equals concat. Okay. And then I'm gonna have it write Mr. and Mrs. comma. This is just separating the arguments. This is not that I want, and then I'm gonna have to add a space because after Mr. and Mrs., I'm gonna have to have it had a space. So I'm gonna have to add a space by going quotation marks, space, quotation marks, comma. Then I'm gonna hit Anthony. No, when it's Mr. and Mrs., you just, this is an American thing to say. You say Mr. and Mrs. Anthony D'Anzio. I don't get that. I've always been surprised that people would put me as Mrs. Jack Bailey. I never got that anyway. So here I need to put another space, comma, and then last name, and then close it. And that should say, whoops, what did I get wrong? Oh, this wasn't quotation marks. This was, okay, quotation. Oh, because I'm doing caps lock. And there you go, Mr. and Mrs. Anthony Frank. Anthony Frank? Where did I get Frank from? Anthony. Oh, I got C20. Me too, Anthony Anzio. All right, did that work? And
It does.
who's left? Mary and let me just go down. I hate that. I hate this. I have to say, as an Argentinian, we never lose our last names. We women never lose our last names. But it's bad enough to suddenly be, Maria Anzio, even if before she was Maria Garcia. But on top of that, the part that I've always found horrible is to call someone Mrs. Anthony Anzio. It's like, at least call her Mrs. Maria Anzio. Anyway, never mind. That's just me being all weird about it. But anyway, yeah, when sometimes my in-laws would send letters to our house addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Harold Bailey. And I'm like, where's me? It's so bizarre. Anyway, there we go. Thank you for remembering about those long addresses. Did it work, Sal and Maria? And Mary? I'm saying Maria. And
Yes,
Mary,
teacher.
I was calling you Megan. Oh, Mary, you need to put your name. I know I was getting it wrong and I was calling you Megan or something like that last time, but I need your last name in your thing to show up in the roster. So let me rename you Mary, but I'm going to put Megrant. Oh, it's in the other computer. Hold on. Can you, look at me. I'm writing Meg.
I know how.
Well, it's okay. I already did it. I reached over. It's barely there, but it's good because I'll see it in the roster. I'll have your last name there in the roster. Okay. Looking at the time. Yeah, so let me see if there's another small thing like this that I wanted to show you before we take a break and then do pivot tables. Well,
Teacher, just the only thing that I have a different file. The names
Yeah.
of the long addresses is different, but I think it works in the same way. So
yeah. Did you make it work? As long as it worked, whatever you were trying to make it work, that's fine. Did it work?
yes, teacher. Thank
All
you.
right, good. So here I have a Miss. Is she the only Miss here? Miss Susie Williamson. Yeah, looks like she's the only Miss. And this, oh, no, Miss Mildred Durson. Anyway, we have a couple of misses here. Oh, and ooh, a Ms. All right. Let me stop. It's such old fashioned stuff. I'm going to stop this one. Although, can I use this one to show you the other one? Sure, let's use this one to show you a find and replace. Well, first of all, whenever I need to look for something that I know, right? Like if I know someone's address, so say that I know this address, right? Let me just do a copy of this, but it would mean I know it. If I have a humongous, like, for example, I'm looking for I'm trying to give you an example. I look for emails a lot. I look for people attached to emails in some roster stuff that I do. So I'll just use this search function right there, right? And I'll just paste that and I'll hit return and it'll just find it or not for me, right? And so as long as I'm in the data field, if I'm kind of out here, it won't work. But if I'm in the data field, right, and I say, put this information in there and I hit return, there it is, boom. See how it found it? So I don't know if you guys do that. So since we're not looking for something, let's just do this. Let's imagine we don't know. And let's say that we're looking for Frank. We're looking for Frank. And in this whole set of data, we don't know where Frank is. So we just write Frank and boom, there it is. It found Frank. So I hit return and it found Frank. Did that work? I haven't had you guys clean up your yeses or nos in a while. So basically Karen's always saying it worked and no one else is saying it worked. So
Well, so my little search thing, it's in the middle, but are you really in the search and find, like find or replace that one?
no, I'm going to show you the find and replace. Right now, I'm just doing a quick find.
Mm.
And I'm using this search bar or search button. Can you share a PC and see where it is? Share me, somebody with a
Yeah.
PC, share their screen for a second so I can point to you where it is on a PC.
So I have
Okay.
this right here.
So where's your search?
Right here.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. So go ahead and write Frank. And hit return. No, that's a search. No, that's not a search. Sorry.
This is where I usually
That-
go to search them.
There's your,
But I don't have
wow.
one where you're.
It's interesting. You don't have the basic search on the PC, do you? Oh, here comes Charles. So this is the find and replace that I was going to show you, but I was trying to show you the simple search, but looks like you guys don't have it. I'm saying you guys because Mac versus PC, you guys. Hi, Charles. Nice to see you. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Well, I see you've joined us. Okay, so point for Mac. Yeah, I was just looking for the simple search because I use it all the time when I just want to find something. But what you're pointing to is where I was going to say, but if you want to do more than just find something, there's the find and replace that you're pointing to. So let's go ahead and assume that if I'm the only Mac person, then can you go ahead and close this for a second and go ahead and go up. Charlie, go to any Excel file that you have. We're going to do some search and replace, find and replace, and change all and that kind of stuff. So if you can find from our handouts a file called a file called long addresses, please open that. But hold on, Karen, I don't want you to jump into it yet. I want to go back and say close because I can't demo this part. So you're gonna have to demo, but you have to be slower for everyone to see it.
Okay.
So in the Charlie, are you a Mac or a PC person? I don't see any
Teacher,
answers.
Just
from
to
you.
double check, Control F is for find and replace.
On a
I'm
PC,
yes,
yes. On a
okay.
Mac, it opens my simple search on a Mac. So if I do Command S, F, it just opens the search that I showed you before, but
Okay.
that you guys don't seem to have.
Okay.
So, I don't know. So I'm just gonna go to the one that the find and replace that. If I show you mine, I think let me look at mine. It looks so different on the Mac. I'm gonna probably have to just show it. Yeah, it looks quite different. So I'm gonna go with Karen's then, because all of you guys who are here are PC people. Charles, I think, is my only Mac person, but he's not answering. So, all right.
Democracy.
Yeah. So Karen, you're gonna have to do this the demo, but make it a little bit slower. Okay, so go ahead and click on the Home tab. Go to the Find and Select. Yeah, you're in the Home tab. You're gonna Find and Select, and there's a couple of choices. The Simple Find is the one I was showing you on the Mac. It just finds stuff. Just do that one quickly, and go ahead and write Frank, and then just say Find Next or Find All. Okay, you find Next. So if you find Next, it goes and it jumps to the first one, right? And then do you see? And then it goes to the next one. But notice that it says Frank Burger, but it doesn't matter. Even if it's a portion of the text, it's still going to go ahead and pick it up because Frank is part of it, right? So it's not about grammar or anything. We didn't write a Frank space or something like that. We just wrote Frank. So Frank Burger or whatever shows up too. So if you want to find all, go ahead and say find all now. And then it gives you a whole list of the 3 ones that it found. And since we didn't really want Frank Burger, then we know that it's Frank. And so that's the one we want. Okay, so that's just a simple close. Let's just close out on that one. Now, the good one is the find and replace. So now let's click on replace. And now this one's pretty powerful because instead of Frank, go ahead and get yourself, instead of Frank, let's say that, and this might sound silly, but let's call all Franks, call them all Frankfurters. I'm being so silly. Frankfurter. Oh,
Burger,
looks like
just
Charles.
like that other one?
No, I was going to say Frankfurter like a hot dog. I was just being silly, but
Oh,
Frank, F-U-R-T-E-R, never mind. I was just being totally silly. And so if you want to check, you can't, like, if you replace all, it might be dangerous because some might apply and some might not. You might be having someone saying, well, to be frank in the text, and that's not what you meant. So if you're not sure, you might have just kind of go replace this one, say replace, and then check the next one and go, okay, not this one because it's not Frank, and then find the next one, and then the next one that is a Frank, we're going to replace, right? So you can do it like that, kind of carefully. Or you can just say replace all. Be careful with the replace alls. Let's go ahead and make all the Mrs., the MRSs, turn into Ms., MS. I don't know why, I'm just saying. Now, be careful, again, because in this case, I doubt there's an MRS period anywhere else than in actually MRS period. So this time you can probably say find replace all, because that's not something you'll find. There's no word that will finish with that.
What do you know? So I use this sometimes too, but I don't know. Like, what if the Mr. and Mrs. will it change? It won't change that one because it's
No,
Mr.
it'll
and Mrs.
just replace the words that you're replacing. So go ahead and say replace, and you'll see. It's going to go to the first one. Down there, see how it's player misters, and then the next one.
Oh, good, it did give it.
Right, it just does that little bit. Or now say replace all, because this one is not one that could have been a mistake. So now everyone says Mr. and Ms., right? So even if it's proportion of it. Now, that's the good news. The problem is when you actually do want it to be, hold on, I'm doing the wrong shortcut. The problem is, not now, I'm doing the wrong shortcut and it's trying to enable dictation. So the find and replace also works with spaces. So say that I had said Frank in space. Okay, so go ahead and write, let's go back. Well, now you've changed them all into Frankfurters or something like that. So now just write Frank and give it a space. Like no, yeah, like Frank's, and then add a space. Yeah, there you go. So now don't replace it, just get rid of it. And then now find them and let's see how many francs it finds. And now it doesn't find them. You see why? Because we added a space. So it's only looking for franc versus without the space, it was looking for franc and it found frankfurter or frankburger. Does that make sense? So now take the space away and do a search again. And now say find next, and it's going to find frankfurter, frankfurter, frankburger. So that space makes it be the actual word that you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The space is a character. It's a hidden character we don't see, but it's looking for franc space, and it doesn't find franc space because we've turned them all into frankfurters. Got it? So the space is valuable if you're trying to find something that's its own word. So for example, there I'm seeing Santa Barbara, right? Well, no, that's nothing. We won't find Santa into anything else. It would have to be something that, go ahead and write S-O. S-O. S, upper, yeah, S-O, yeah. And now say find, just find next. Or find all, go ahead and say find all, that way we see a bunch. And looks like there's a lot of things. Yeah, keep going because there's 15 cells found. And you go, what do you mean SO? Well, South Main Avenue, Patterson, Durson, Camerson, Matson, SO is everywhere, right? So now go ahead and say SO space and do a find all again. Oh, go ahead. Actually, you're right. It's SO dot. Sorry, SO dot. It's not a space. SO period. Go say find next. I was trying to give you an example, but there's only one that's South State. See that? I thought it was from here. I wasn't seeing the dot, the period, because it was so small. So I was trying to use as an example. But anyway, it would have been SO, which you wouldn't have found anywhere. But there you go. So there's so many of those kind of things. So street, as long as everyone always, oh, see how sometimes, okay, so, okay, this is a perfect example. Go ahead and find the word, write the word street, and then, and replace it with only ST for period. Good, and now, just, you can replace, find next, just to show us if you want, go and find all, just to see how many. And there's only one, there we go, that says Main Street, Hill Street, and Pine Street, right? So now that's good. They're safe. Let's replace all. So I would always first do a find next, right? Because find all, I mean, because you just want to confirm that you're doing it to the right things. Otherwise, you might need to change what you're writing in the find what before you say replace all, because you might make another big boo-boo that you won't even look for, right? Because it happened all automatically. So just be careful with the replace all. You can make big disasters there if you don't first check them. So just that's the replace and replace all version. And Len, there we go, Applewood Lane, replace for lane. There you go. Then you have consistency at least, right? So cool, perfect. Thank you for demoing that on the PC, because it is a bit different on the Mac. Where's my long addresses here? In case, well, you want to see it on the Mac, I'll just share really quickly mine, just to see the differences. So we have it under the edit find, and then you go to find next, previous, or just replace, or you can just go to a spot, go to Karen, go to Frank, but we're going to go ahead and replace. And so here, if I write Frank, I still haven't changed mine, and I'm going to say Frank Birder. If I say find all, what? Hello. Find all. Oh, there we go. Frankfurter. So, I mean, it's similar enough. This showed up differently from, I guess they've, in the 365, they've joined it. So this is pretty similar, I guess. It doesn't make much difference. Yeah. So I'm going to just replace only the ones that I want and not all of them. So replace all. Okay, replacement, not much different. No need to spend any more time on that. I thought mine was quite different looking, but now that I saw PC one, they're doing their best to join all of these things to make them all be more similar. Okay. All right, so other than a couple of other little things, let's take our break, and then I'm looking at a couple of other little things like that. Let's go to our break and we'll come back and do pivot tables, which is pretty powerful. Okay, so where are we as far as
7:21.
7:20, 7:22? My computer just changed. So funny. I was just at the anyway, here in Berkeley, they have this very, this tower that they're all excited, the Campanile, and the clock changes 1 minute before the time, and it's all, they show you all this engineering and whatever, and phones are, iPhones are pretty perfect, and every time the alarm, the bells would ring 1 minute before the time, so they have to fix it. Okay, so sorry, 7:22. Somebody figure it out. I'll have to do it in Excel. 15 minutes.
37.
Thank you. Break until 7:37 p.m. See you guys in 15.
Thank you, teacher. See you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Sorry, I running a minute late. Couple minutes late. All right, so Mary, I don't know if you're here, give me a sign of life, and Sal, this is mainly for you and for Mary, because Karen could probably teach this part of the class. Not that I want to get rid of you, Karen, but if you have something to do. I can't hear you. Your phone is muted. I should be, yeah, I
you hear me
hear
now?
you now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I know pretty much, I feel like I know everything, but then you keep showing me little bits that fill in
Yeah.
gaps, so that's
Okay, got it. Got it. But this is pretty, after what you showed me yesterday, this is basic intro to pivot tables, but go ahead. Sal,
Okay,
come
so
back.
if me drop off, don't be offended.
No, at all, at all. Sal, hello. Okay, he's fast to catch up, so we'll just, fine. Here we go. So let's open intro to pivot tables, which is Excel intro pivot tables, not intro to intro pivot tables. Here we go. Oh, God. I thought I had stopped yawning, but there it comes again. Sorry, it has nothing to do with, I mean, it's just been a very stressful set of days, and it's just things are a bit crazy. That's all I can say in my defense, but don't take it personally, because it's not personal. Okay, let me share my screen. Mary, did you find the file? As long as you have it. I know that you're watching, and then you do it on your other screen. And I don't see Sal yet, but I'm going to keep going. All right, so here we have a ton of data. And up until now, the other things I showed you today, and all the filtering, all the sorting, actually the subtotals had to do with calculations, but everything else has been more retrieving data from big amounts of information and things like that. Now, what if, and originally we showed you how to add things up, so you could have added all of the order amounts, so you could have added everything, region. We could have done a subtotal here by region and stuff like that, which is what I showed you last week. But there's actually a much quicker, simpler, and kind of magical tool, which is pivot tables, to create, to extract information from this table in many different directions. And that's the beauty of pivot tables, that other kinds of finding information are fixed. You know, you find out this one thing, but pivot tables allow you to pivot, so to say, around and find different information with the same tool. What's that?
Slice and dice.
Slice and dice. Yes, exactly. I love that. All right. So let's go ahead and try to find out information here, specifically about our salespeople, the regions, the amounts, the months. Like I want to really dig deep into this and find out what are my better, my worst months, which are my better, worst salesmen, how it's going, and, you know, do I need to provide more support where, that kind of thing. So, and we could do that in bits and pieces with everything else I've been telling you, but let's go to insert and bring in an insert. Sorry, go to insert, and over here it says tables. Let's choose a pivot table. And I guess if it's already, let me make this a little bit bigger. Hold on. I need to, let me cancel this because I don't think this is showing enough. There we go. Let's start again. Okay, let me insert a pivot table. All right, now we can see the whole thing and still see my table. So first it says select a table or range. This is a table already, so it went ahead and selected the table. If I didn't have the table, I would have had to select, if this wasn't a table, I would have had to select the data. So I'm going to select the data this time as if this was not a table. And then I would say pivot table. Okay. Now, one thing is that I wanted to show you how do you know it's a table, because remember I told you one of the features of a table was that you had, the obvious features of the table is that you had the little filter buttons in here. But remember the other visual, I'm sorry. God, that's embarrassing. The other visual cue was this little tiny corner there that allowed you to extend it with formatting and down and to the right. And I don't know, Sal might have not been here yesterday when I did that, because today was asking me about extending. But anyway, so back to tables, enter pivot table. And most of the times we make a pivot table in a new worksheet separate from our data, so that we don't have, too much in front of our, you can choose that, but we'll do that. So we're gonna say, okay. And we got a blank-ish table. And then over here on the right side, we get to put the information that we want to find out. And at first you might kind of flail around putting them in different ones. I'm going to tell you where to put them, but it's also a bit of a discovery until you understand where things go. Now, values usually have to do with your, totals that you want to find out. So order amount would make a good one to put here in values. So I'm going to grab order amount and I'm going to just drop it, boom, right there in values. As soon as I do that, something begins to appear over there. And now let's say that I want to see how much each salesperson made. So I'm going to grab salesperson and drop it here under rows. So now my salespeople appear in rows, and the amount that they sold appears to the right without me having to make any kind of formulas or, any kind of calculation. Just dropping these two elements in this pivot table gives me a lot of information. Now, I'm kind of torn because Sal is not here and Mary isn't doing it. So I'm just kind of demo it and that's it, right? Because I'm not getting questions, or especially since Andrew left, I'm going to pretty much explain it and then that'll be it. So this is going to go kind of fast. So Mary, if you have any questions, please.
Well,
please
I
write
need
in
to
the
see
chat.
it first to see what
It-
it does.
Exactly. So, but otherwise just, ask me or put things in the chat. I'm going to move this a little bit closer now here, so we have it a little bit easier to see. All right. So then, basically we're slicing and dicing, as Karen said. We've grabbed all of this information here and we've divided it into only the order amount and the people, which here each time they ordered there was a little bit. So here very quickly we know how much each person made. Now say that we want to add
So
how much.
that means that it has summed all the quarters
Yeah,
or months or whatever.
Exactly. So let's go over to Albertson Cafe. And over here, Albertson Cafe had 1, 2, 3, 4 sales. And this put together, if I grab these 4, if I look down here at the bottom, I don't know if you remember, but here you could see the sum, a quick sum of the cells that I've selected. And there it shows me that Kathy Albertson has sold 2,650. If I go now to sheet 1, there it is. Albertson Kathy has sold 2,650. So yes, this is the sum of everything that Kathy made. Now, Michael Brennan, I think I grabbed all the right ones, 3,700. When I go to sheet 1, yeah, there it is, 3,700. So it figured it out for me. But it can get much more intricate. And by the way, see, when I click away, all my options disappear and this is all I'm seeing. But when you click into the pivot table, you get to put more stuff. So what if I want to decide how much they sold by region, for example? So I'm going to grab region. I'm going to put it under the column so they appear over here. I'm going to grab region. I'm going to drop it right there. Whoops. That wasn't a very good choice. I wasn't meaning region because of the way it divides. I was meaning month, but since I made it smaller, I didn't see my month. Let me make it a bit bigger. There we go. Because the regions are separate. Some of them, there's 2 salesmen per region and stuff like that. So anyway, let me bring months down here. Now that looks good because now I do still have the grand total, but I can also see how much each one sold per month, right? I can see that some people are really not doing good in March, but then other people are doing awesome in January, right? So this one here is January. It's just that it's hard to tell because the whole custom label says that, but this one's January, this one's February and March. All right, so it could be a bit better formatted, but there you go. So so this guy's doing great. Like he probably had a humongous, client come in that day. And then he's just regular the rest of the time, but in total, he still has a pretty good sales versus this person is a bit more even, always a lot. Now, this stuff that I'm telling you is there's other ways to see this information, but right now, let's just assume that instead of that, we only wanted to see which regions sold, not salespeople. So I can drag this out to get rid of it, or I can just unclick that and the salesperson leaves. And now it's just all it gives me is the total, per month without knowing who, when, and where. So now I'm going to grab region and I'm going to put it over here because I want to see which regions are selling better. And now I'm getting that East, North, South, and West, each one has a different amount of regions in which they're selling, for example. So yeah, so I can go ahead and say that I want to not find out per month. So I'm going to go over here a month and disconnect month. And so now it's just like East that much, North that much, South that much, West that much. Now there's different salespeople belong to these. So maybe one of these is, two different salespeople, and this one might be one salesperson and stuff like that. So there's some other, before I go on to, oh, hey, Sal.
Hello.
I was waiting for you because this is really new and special. So let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to do a quick review of this. Let me delete that. And let's head over here. Intro to pivot tables. Hopefully you opened that file.
Yes, I have already
All
opened
right.
this one.
And so then you just go to insert, and I'm gonna, without all the preamble, just click on my table, click somewhere inside the table, and
Mhm.
then go over to pivot table. And we're gonna let the defaults lie, and we'll say, okay. I'm just going a little bit faster here.
Okay,
And
got it.
And
Thank you.
now we got our first pivot table waiting to analyze our data and find out a lot of different ways all at once with one tool to find out information about that data. So the example I gave here, we wanted to see how much each salesperson sold. So we went to rows and we put salespersons, and boom, in a row, we have the names of all our salespeople. Then we want to see how much they sold. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to the order amount and drop it into values. And there it is, all of their sales collected and the grand total. Now, again, if you go over here, you could have, done different calculations as of totals and selections and everything we've been telling you up until now, and found out some of this. But it's all in one tool without having to really do anything but create a pivot table. We can find out a ton of information. Now, notice that over here, we have a couple different names. South appears again, and South appears again, and South appears again. It's under vendors or salespeople. So it looks like we have a lot of people in the South, maybe 2 in the West, but it's hard to tell who, where, what. So again, let's head over here and let's find out how many of these people sold every month. So I guess that's the next one that I grabbed and I threw it in here. So now we can see that this person did sell a total of $26.50 in these 3 months. This is how they did, right? And so you can compare, you can find out what's doing well, what's not doing well. Say that I want to, and this is, I can't think where you came in, I've just kind of zoomed through it, but basically, if I turn off the salespeople and I kind of bring in the regions right now, I can discover that East, North, South, and West have totals per region. Maybe I was in just the total, so I can go over here and turn off the months, and then that's the totals of each region. And clearly this company does much better in the South. That said, there's another thing you can do here, which might be, I wouldn't say easier, but you can dig deeper. Let me go ahead and put, let me put the salespeople here again. And again, I could just select here and turn that off, or I can just drag it out like that, boom. And it disappears too. I don't know, does that happen also on the Mac, on the PC? That cute little cloud that goes poof. I don't know if you heard it, but in my ears, I got a little poof, and it just kind of, did you? Okay, I guess it's only in my headset, but in the Mac, it does this little like poof, like a balloon exploding, and a little cloud goes away. Anyway, so let's go ahead and put the order amount in there again. And let's do salespersons down here and months over here, right? So I have quite a bit of information. I can create some filters in here. And, I can show you some filters, but why bother truly? Because there's an easier way of filtering. Well, maybe I'll show it to you. There's a possibility of doing some filters in here. I prefer going up here and inserting a slicer. So under filter, let's insert a slicer. It's just a much better way of doing this. So now say that I want to be able to figure out individual information about each one of these different salespeople. So I'm going to go ahead and click on salesperson and say, okay. So that's the slicer that I want right now. So I'm going to throw this little slicer up there. Now, right now they're all selected, so I'm not seeing much difference than before. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on
Something totally new. Can you slow down and back up and show me?
Oh, wow. There's something new. I get so excited when
Super excited.
I know. Let me just delete that.
All magic, and I'm like, I could like totally do all of those. The slicer, I've seen slicers, and I didn't know where they ever came from.
Okay. So I like them better than filters. Have you used filters before?
I use filters all the time. Yeah.
So maybe
But
you
if I
find
could,
I kind of like the
slicer.
slicers. It's similar. It's a bit different way
Well,
of filtering.
yeah, it looks better.
So let me head over. It was in my insert. No, where was I? I was in my where was I? Pivot table. Where's my slicers? Hello? Pivot. Oh, come now. Oh, it's in the table. It's in the table field. Okay. So I'm gonna hit escape because I needed to. So let me undo that. It was in the table field that I don't get until I click on this. So let me actually, you know what? I'm just because this, for some reason, when I double click, it gives me the table that's already sliced. I think the slicing hasn't undone itself. Let me start with this one again, because I think that my slicer was still in the memory. So anyway, I'm gonna go back and recreate this. So if you guys already have the slicer open, go for it. But I think I think this is what I was doing, month, salesperson, and order. All right. So we're gonna insert a slicer here. Now we could create a filter in here. I'm going to give me a second. 1 second. I'm answering my son. Hold on. I'm going to stop that. I'm having a minute here. 1 sec. My son is taking antibiotics. Remember that I hold on.
Insert way over on filters is like
Yeah. Give me a sec. One sec. My alarm just went off and I need to text my son because he's taking antibiotics. My little one, the one I told you that they had to give him stitches. That was my 8 p.m. alarm. Okay, there we go. Sorry, just had to text him because he needs to be reminded to take his antibiotics. Okay, so let's head over here and get ourselves well, we had the table. So where are my slicers? Here they are. So here's my slicer. And I'm going to insert a little slicer, and let's go ahead and start with, say, a slicer for a salesperson. And I'm going to say okay to that. Right. Now, the cool thing about this is that you get to play around with how much each person or groups of people. So I'm going to just select only Albertson's Kathy. And so now, this is what filtering would have done, but here I can play around. Let's see what, only Dumlao did instead of just all my people at once. But what if I want to see what Kathy and I'm going to hold the command or control key and Tia did. So I'll select these two, and there's giving me the information for these two, or I want to figure out what Walters and Melissa and Williams did. And there we go. Now I find out what those three did. If I just click on one, everyone else gets deselected. If you, actually, you can go ahead and use these also. And here I'm clearing all my filters, so I'm going back to everyone. And then if I use this one here, multi-select, then it allows me to collect on 2 different people without having to hold. Right now, I'm not holding control or command or shift or anything. So now I'm seeing only Brennan, Flores, and Thompson. Now, if I click on Davis, they get added. If I turn this off and I don't use that, I'm going to clear the filter. Then I have to actually hold down my command or control to get different choices, right? I'm going to actually clear this filter. Let's get another slicer here. Got to select your data. And this time I'm going to say by region. Where's my right?
Mary's asking, does the slicer need to be, does the slicer be chosen in the pivot table?
I'm thinking slicing by region. Yep, here we go. Oh, well, there you go. You were thinking must be slicer be chosen in the pivot table. Yes, you'd have to have here your pivot table already created, and now it's working inside of the pivot table. So now let's do a region one, and this is kind of cool because now I want to see by region and see. We didn't know, or at least I didn't know off the top of my head, who of these people were in each region. And if you have a ton of people, employees or salespeople, you might not know. So now you're just going by East and you're seeing not only the total and the months, but who are the 2 salespeople who work in the East, right? And so maybe I'll go by North, and that's only 1 person. And that kind of makes sense that if I hit South, that, oh, there were 3 salespeople. That's why they were doing so much better. Remember, when you look at the numbers, they were doing much better than anyone else. And since I have the 2 slicers set up, now this is kind of sub-selecting these 3. These are grayed out and those are black. And I go by West. If I want to see, again, individual people here, then the region kind of won't matter. It just tells me which region these people belong to. So Dumla Richard is in the West, and that's, so they're kind of letting each other do the job. When I hit Walters, I can see he's in the South. When I see Flores, let me keep changing. Looks like those are all South. This guy's West. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to have to clear all these because they're getting like one on top of the other. And move them over here. What did I do with my other guy? Here we go. Now, and you can keep, bringing in slicers of the others. Say that I want to get rid of my of this filter. This slice, I just select and delete it. Now I'm going to go in and bring another slicer to figure out the by month, and hit OK on month. And now I just want to see what's happening in January. Maybe I got rid of this one here. And then I want to see what's happening in February, right? So it's just really easy to pick up and find out whatever you want. Now, most interesting is to me, and I'm a very visual person, is that, by the way, let me stop. Question. I am thinking size and in the same pivot table might be of interest. Example is what I was curious about. It does not need to be chosen as an element in the pivot. It was, in this case, it was an element in the pivot though. My pivot table, I had, oh, you're right, I hadn't chosen region. You're right. Nope, it wasn't. I hadn't put it in there. In the, if this, let me just delete these guys. By deleting the slicers, I had no region information in this pivot, but bringing in the slicer for region then added that feature to this one, to this sub selection. So yeah. Cool. I'm gonna neutralize that one by clicking here on the clear filter. And one thing I want to say that's really cool, that I'm a visual person, right? By the way, Sal, any question, anyone? Karen, applying this to your
Everything is
marketing
okay.
stuff?
Thank you,
Oh
teacher.
my
Everything
God,
is-
I am gonna be changing that spreadsheet that I showed you that I have to do every Monday.
Uh-huh,
Sometimes I do it on Sunday for Monday.
uh-huh.
It's gonna change a little bit because of the region thing,
Mm-hmm.
especially, and I have people who have to go into it and look at it, and they only want to look at their region. So it's awesome.
Yay. Love it, love it. I feel like my whole, like, last day of last class to hear like, this is good from someone who's gonna use it tomorrow. I love that.
Oh yeah.
Right. Now let me show you even one more thing that might be too much for what you want, but I like, because I'm a visual person. And I like charts. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go actually to a chart. Insert pivot chart. Look at that. There's a little pivot chart too that we can insert. Yay. So here we go. Little pivot chart. And this data here that it's showing me is basically what this pivot table is saying. What if I now click on East? Then my pivot chart also changes and it shows me the information of what's happening in the East, what's happening in the South. And I can
So did
just
you go
like,
to
what's that?
insert pivot chart? Where did you go to insert the pivot chart?
You go to charts, insert, and there's all these charts and one is pivot chart.
Oh, there we go.
Mhm. And so, I really like charts. And so I was looking at these numbers. I'm not a numbers person. How many times have I asked you to figure out my 15 extra minutes for the break? But I'm a visual person. So I look at this and I would have to, I guess I can tell who's doing better. I can tell by looking at the numbers, Karen, you're a very numbers person. But to me, I look at this and I go, oh, okay, clearly Tia, we gotta work on see what's happening with William here. I don't know, but that's how I think. So
Well,
these are-
yeah, that's true though, because maybe some of the people that I'm showing the data to are like you, want to see the pictures.
I'm like a picture book person when it comes to numbers. I
Well,
like
I like it too. I do like it.
charts tell me
It's
this
awesome.
stuff. So now you
See,
get
knew that I should say.
now there's only one salesperson in the north, so boom, that's all you see in there. The same with the east. No, east has two people. I thought two had one person anyway. So that kind of works. Now, instead of the region, I had gotten rid of, let me clear that because I had gotten rid of the slicer for the region. Let me get the slicer for the salespersons again going. And now I can say, well, I want to see how, Albertson, Command, and Tia and Walters are doing. So now the slicer is separating these three out and my chart is showing me these three. Right? So yeah, that's in case you don't care about the region and you're just caring about total sales and stuff like that. So there you go. That's my, example. So say that I want Albertson and Melissa. Here, I'm going to go with Albertson and Melissa. And let's add where are my months? I'm not checking the months here in this one. Yeah,
You
oops,
took 'em
let
out.
me undo. Yeah, it's still fine. Okay. So here we go. Let me just go in and change this completely. If I go back to my pivot table and I take the salesperson out, then this is, kind of a moot point because suddenly I don't have a salespeople. All I have is months, and I have grand totals for these individual things. I'm just, start from zero again and get myself a pivot table that means something else this time. So I'm going to get rid of this, hit delete, hit delete. And now I'm going to say per month how much I made. And why is it showing me only March?
Oh, there's a filter. What's the filter?
It looks like there's a filter, but I don't have a filter.
What's
Oh,
the
oh,
filter
oh,
on
in here, I have a filter in there. Yeah, so select all. There we go. I guess I clicked on this inadvertently, so now I have my filters cleared. And now I can go again and make my little insert pivot chart. Right, so even if I don't have the slicer, I can have that work. And now I'm going to put maybe this will be a bit long, but maybe I'll put the salesperson over here, and then I can see, how they did in the months. And so this isn't so easy to read as a chart, as a table, but as a chart, this is interesting, right? Because then I can see what happened per month with each person. And remember that we can change this really quickly, this position of things, by putting the salespeople there and the month over there. And there we go. Now we have, all the information by month. All right. You guys are absolutely, oh, my pivot chart isn't working. It is asking for a range. Are you selecting? Let me start from zero again. Let me go. I'm going to just delete this whole page. And let's go back, delete everything. So back here, for this to work, you have to either be clicking on it if it's a table, or you do have to, select the range first, and then you need to insert your pivot table. Okay, and then instead because it's a table, it's saying table 1 because it was there, it's already ready to go, and that's working. Did that work now, Mary? Don't see an answer from you, so.
Well, it was when we did the chart. I was working with the pivot table I had created before.
So you had the pivot table working and then the charts weren't coming in?
Correct.
Okay, so it's had you inserted a slice? Did you have a slicer? Sorry.
I think I took my slicer out.
Okay, it's okay. Either way, you can do a slicer or a chart or both, right? But you need to be selecting your pivot table. That's the only thing. Like in this case, had you been like here, it wouldn't work. So you have to be selecting your pivot table. Then you go to insert, then you have a pivot chart available. And that should just work automatically. If you weren't selecting, if you were like down here and tried to go to insert to pivot chart, it then wants to know what's your data table range, in which case you're actually, it's interesting because do you need to go to the data? Not the data, because if you do this, actually, I probably need to I need to put in my labels, my row. Probably I need to add, I wouldn't know in here what to select because, let me just try that. Yeah, it can't, you can't do that. You just need to have it select because I don't know. Let me just see if I can undo all these. Yeah, I can, because I'm not sure if it uses these or not. So just make sure that you have your selection is inside of the actual pivot table results, so to say here, before you insert the pivot chart, and it just knows. And I'm thinking I can see there, it actually only wants that, I can see what it's selecting. It only wants the names and the months. So I'm going to get rid of that. And now I'm going to be over here and insert it without that. And let me try that just from here to here. And let's see if that works. Nope, that was not right. So yeah, I don't know then if you have to choose, because it probably needs the whole range of this area, because that's what it's working on. But since it's a pivot table chart, I don't know. All I'm going to say is select in there and then it'll work. Okay. Now, if you double click this table, by the way, you also get choices to how to format your chart, but I don't even want to go there, but you know, we've done this before. You can fill, you can solid fill and all that kind of stuff, but just as much as we did before the charts we can do here. Don't want to go there, but just showing that to you because, hey, why not? Oh, I left it transparent. Okay. When I said no fill, it went actual transparent, which is not a good idea. All right. Am I seeing any other comments from anyone? Nope. Mary, did it work this time when you selected inside of the table? So I don't have, you guys are fast and I have only 3 people and the one person who needed a lot of explanation is not here. So I'm done. Everything I had prepared is done.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sal, any questions? You're welcome, Karen. Sal? I can't hear you.
I was on mute, sorry. Oh, thank you,
Oh my
teacher.
God,
So
hold
everything
on.
is clear.
Have I not had a video on all this time? My goodness, you were looking. I'm so sorry. Anyway, not that it's gotten dark over here. Let me put in a light. That's a very weak light. Anyway, whatever. There's a bit of
Oy.
light.
Almost
And
Friday, teacher.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Oh
are
my
you
God.
okay?
Hold on. The lamp fell over and oh my God, my reactions. My son's laptop, which is the one that's running the Zoom, the lamp fell over on it and I grabbed it by the little bitty bit of my finger before it fell, or I would have had a very expensive light mistake there. Wow. Okay. I'm so lucky with that. I was so lucky. I almost lost everything. Okay.
It sounds like a good time to end then.
It does sound like a good time to end. I can't believe that happened. Because I have it propped on a pile of 6 books, 6 big books, and I had it up there and one book slid over another like this, and my laptop, his laptop fell over. Thank goodness for good reflexes. All right, so that's it. That's it. And hopefully you guys will get to use this with, more intense material, because always these little examples with a little bit of material sounds less interesting. But if you were to, as we saw, if you apply this to tons and tons of data, the way Karen does, it makes your life so much easier. Because again, all of this could have been kind of sliced and diced by hand, but you can't do that when you have hordes of data. You're trying to say something, Karen?
Yeah, so I sent you a little message just to you, and I just want to make sure you saw that before we hang up.
Okay, I got it. All right, sure. Let me send you a chart. Let me send you something. But that said, I am kind of going on real vacation
Nice.
because I am going camping for a week. Use that one. And I'm going camping for a week and then I'm going to Argentina. To my mom is turning 90. And so I'm
Everything takes forever at my company. So.
Exactly. So what I'm going to say is I'm kind of not going to be responsive for a while. But other than that, I hope you guys put this into good use. And it's been great. You guys are the kind of people who I can tell are really, Mary, you have information from years ago and you know how to still apply it, which is wonderful. Karen is using it right now. Sal, you just are like absorbing it like nothing. So yeah, I've never taught only 3 people, you guys. My classes are usually humongous. And so of course,
Thank you, teacher.
it's very different, but hey, this is good. Hope to see you in
Yeah.
some other set of classes. I'm gonna just warning you, when I get myself back to Santa Barbara and everything is a bit better, I'm gonna send an email to everyone with information about the next classes that I'm gonna be teaching in the fall. So you'll be hearing from me in that way. And I hope to see you in something else.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Nice to
one.
meet you. Bye.
Nice to meet you too, Sal. Nice to meet all of you. Bye, guys. And
Thank you,
gals.
Deanna.
You're welcome, Mary. Bye.
Bye.